Good evening, and first of all, Merry Christmas, season's greetings, and whatever is appropriate for you. And a personal thank you I'm supposed to give out to OJ Pete for very kindly sending me a Christmas present. I would like to say thank you to our very special guests, Top Hat Gamer, and
Hello.
Bully from TableGoth.
Hello.
This session is intended to be our introduction to an upcoming Victorian Chronicle, which is probably going to start 2-3 weeks or so. Hopefully. But for now, let us begin. Awakening for the night in the city of London this week are Jacob Cutter of Clan Salubri, portrayed by Top Hat Gamer. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. Excellent. Alistair from the Clan of Lamoon, portrayed by Tina. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. It seems that Xavier's cursed, but not Alistair. Eveline, the daughter of Cacophony, portrayed by Ms. Hartz. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor state. You're going to get hungry tonight. Aldrich, of the Clan of Kings, portrayed by Bully from TableGoth. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor state. And finally, Thurston, of the Nosferatu, portrayed by Nitro Typat. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. I love the fact that you've kept that name.
Yep. You gave it to me.
We can't say the name on Twitch anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's displayed on Twitch. Is that bad?
I have no idea. Nor do I care at this point. Let's
If we get banned for that, at least we'll go down in a blaze of glory.
Eveline,
The letter, no one will know.
Eveline, a recent embrace to the Daughters of Cacophony, has arrived fashionably late to the Elysium located close to the border between the City of London and the West End. Nestled between the British Museum and Covent Garden, she enters into the address her sire gave her to go out to this night. She enters through the white marbled stone archway and sees a large, heavy-set man with a face like a living gargoyle, wrinkled and contorted with barely repressed anger, but smartly dressed, with his hand clasped in front of his body. He barely acknowledges her and gruffly asks, "Any weapons? You leave here. You get them back once you leave."
I have no weapons.
He stands to one side and allows you passage up the staircase. Eveline walks up the extremely clean white stairs, her shoes echoing along the pristine hallway as she passes portraits. She reaches the top of the stairs. The moment she sets foot on the marble floor, 2 pearl-white double doors open up to her. The sound of people talking and revelry strike her like a gush of wind. She enters confidently into the room, takes a sight of Kindred openly feeding on dazed, mesmerized mortals. Standing on a podium that overlooks the floor is a distinguished gentleman with a thick but tidy, well-kept beard. He's dressed in regulation red military uniform, bedecked with medals aplenty. A stage sits in front of the many kindred, with a magician performing his craft. Most of the kindred that are sat at tables in front of the performer are more interested in talking to each other, apart from one lady, who is seen leaning forward and keenly interested in the stage performer. Soon after Eveline enters, a smartly dressed waiter approaches and bows. "Ah! You must be Miss Eveline. You're late, but please, come this way." And he gestures forward and guides her to a table where 6 other kindred are sat, one at the head of the grand table, as the others sit looking awkward and almost nervously to each other. Eveline takes a seat. The female kindred at the head of the table. She begins to talk to them all. "Welcome, Childer." This is my best female impression. "Most of you have been prepared for this moment by your sires. It is not my job, nor of interest to me to educate you in our ways. If any of you are already lacking that knowledge, perhaps you should talk to each other first. Which brings me to the second point. London is unique. There is an Elysium in most of the different wards of the city. However, Mithras has deemed various places under the rules of Elysium. The many museums around the city, the National Gallery, and other major places of art. Even Madame Tussauds waxworks, government and judicial buildings, Westminster Abbey, and St. Paul's Cathedral are all considered under the protection of Elysium, though they themselves are not actual Elysia. In addition to those, the royal palaces are considered off-limits. London itself is not a Camarilla city, but Mithras and the Camarilla's objectives align more often than they do not. As such, we have an accord and policy of tolerance, despite our differences. As such, we are disposed to assist Mithras and he to us. Recently, Kindred have gone missing. They turn up completely empty of life, drained not just of their vitae, but of their very soul. This is a crime we cannot tolerate. It is hardly widespread, but if even one of us turns up empty of our soul, the perpetrator must be brought to face the consequences of their actions. My disappointment of a child has more details. You'll find her fawning over her pet magician kind by the stage.
That's it? We're just supposed to be common policemen?
You should know your place by now. If you're already beginning to question me, you won't get very far in this unlife.
Do I get a club?
If you
Don't
have
give me
enough
that look.
money to afford one.
I look at Thurston. Do they normally buy their clubs when they become policemen?
Not that I know of.
So we're not real policemen. Sucks.
I mean, I'm not really here to be a policeman, but
It's not what she said. And I point to Evelyn.
Either way, I'm sure everyone here is police or not or whatever. We have an opportunity to help, and I'm sure everyone is here to be friendly, here to do what is right. We've been given a simple task, so we should do it, yes?
if it's what makes the higher-ups happy.
This one is smart. If the
Thanks,
higher-ups are
I
happy,
appreciate
of
it.
course, they will
Proper.
make sure we are happy. These things always work out this way, yes?
Right. What's up with you? You seem confused.
What?
You seem confused.
No, I'm not confused.
Okay.
Okay. When is it we are to embark on this task? Do we have the evening to get acquainted, or is this something that needs to be taken care of post haste?
You
I
have
think
enough
we need
time.
to ask her.
You have enough time to talk to each other and get to know each other. But if you wish to embark on this quest post haste, I would at least get as much information as possible. Talk to that
And where do we go for this
foolish
information?
child.
Oh,
My
your child,
foolish
of course,
child.
you said that.
Over by the stage.
You said that there's a magician. What does it appear that the child is doing?
Can you ask that question in a different way, please?
Is she just sitting there watching?
Yes.
And there are seats around there?
Oh yeah.
Thurston gets up and walks up with her.
But okay, I'll address the woman. How is the proper way to address your child? I do not want to ruffle any feathers before we begin. I know you say
Simply
they're foolish, but
simple manners befitting a gentleman talking to a lady would suffice. There's no need
that I can
to
do.
pump up her ego any more than is needed.
And I don't believe I caught her name.
It is not for me to introduce someone else by name.
Understood.
Proper etiquette.
I see Thurston is already just beelining there. Perhaps we should intervene sooner than later then. And, Aldrich will stand, straighten himself, and shall we? We'll refer to the others.
I
No, I've
stand.
never-
I stand and purposely walk forward to be in the front of the line.
I've never understood the phrase post haste. They want you to be slow?
Perhaps you contemplate these things while we gather some information. You let me know what you come up with.
Oh, I've already decided. It's incorrect.
I cannot wait to hear your reasonings.
Stop
I take
listening
that
to me.
back.
Hurry up.
I can wait. Yeah, now I'll quickly follow behind, letting Evelyn take the lead.
Jacob, are you
first-
joining them?
I am, yes. I'm going with him.
The Coven of Undead look over to the stage and see sat at a large table on her own a woman in a long flowing black dress topped with a whalebone corset. She leans forward intently staring at the stage, upon which a magician plies his trade, seemingly unaware of the predators around him, despite them openly feeding upon mortals.
Thurston, having gone ahead a bit, would approach the woman to a slight bow. He's not in his like tattered robes that he was last time we saw him. He's actually he's wearing what a man of higher status in kind society would be wearing, but it's dirty and torn a little bit. It looks like it hasn't been washed, or he's been wearing it for quite some time without taking care of it. But he would approach the woman and extend a hand out and be like, "Greetings, my name is Thurston. Your sire sent me and my coterie over to converse."
The woman, her concentration is broken. She almost seems startled as she leans back and looks at you. Out of habit, she extends her hand for you to take, then looks at yours and instantly brings it back, repulsed by the disgusting seeming skin disease riddled all over you. Good evening. I'm so pleased to meet you. I am Miss Sandra Green. Wait. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I forget. We don't use those names here. I'm Pandora. Please, take a seat.
It's wonderful to meet you, and I sit down.
At this point, I would have gotten there. Curtsy. Good evening, Miss Pandora. May we join you?
Please, it would be my pleasure.
I will a polite bow as well and silently join the others and sitting around Pandora.
Everyone taking a seat?
Yeah, I'll take a seat.
I suppose you have come here seeking information about the recent killings and disturbances.
Is a most unfortunate, but I understand you are the one who has insight on these matters.
I can't help
Apparently,
myself.
we've been given this mundane task.
You're so lucky.
privilege.
You've been given the chance to advance already. Kindred have been reported missing. Those that are found have not only been drained of all their vitae, but it would seem that the Amaranth has been performed on them, stealing their very soul from them. This act is usually only reserved for those that have committed serious crimes, and even then it is rare that it is fully sanctioned. Such a terrible crime it is considered upon our society. Usually when the soul is consumed, the offender will absorb the power of their victim, bringing them closer to elder in power, though this can only happen if they consume the soul of those older than themselves, and it is not, of course, without great risk. If the terrible act is not performed perfectly, then the soul is not consumed. Sometimes worse. The soul can take over its new host. The case becomes strange here, however. Not every victim was of a particularly older generation. Suspects are somewhat limited. There is a small coven of Samdi, recently arrived from one of the Caribbean colonies. You can find them in the East End, hidden away in one of the warehouses in the London docks. Be wary, though, for they are as tricky as they are grotesque. She flashes her eyes over to Thurston. Though they are low on the list of likely suspects, they may know something of interest. They may not. Getting information from them will be difficult. The infamous fog of London, I'm sure you've experienced it by now. No doubt in your mortal wanderings. And more recently, perhaps, with your sire. However, not all of this fog is benign in nature, especially to our kind. A certain kind of mist suddenly appears on a street. It envelops a nearby area, and if you are so misfortunate to be caught in it, or even wander into it by mistake, you may not come out of it again. Several elders, as well as fledglings like yourselves, have been caught in it. Some are found after the mist lifts in torpor, unable to share what happened. Others are simply not found again, as if they vanished into thin air. I'm sorry, I have a small weakness for puns. Whether this mysterious fog is responsible or not, it should be avoided, and you on your guard at all times for it. As for its nature, we haven't the foggiest idea. The Sabbat have been persistent in their attempts to capture the city. Previous to Lord Mithras returning to the city, he left the former seneschal, Valerius, in charge. Lord Mithras was displeased with his thrall's service and cast him out of his position, deciding in his infinite mercy to allow Valerius to continue his unlife, forever in the shadow of his betrayal. He resides in his squalor of a haven in the East End, hidden away. He has a motive and the means to commit such atrocities. Finding him within the East End, I'm sure, will not be too challenging for such up-and-comers. Few that he has in friends, so potential pawns for him to manipulate would be sought out. A thin-blood gang can't be ruled out, though they could be chasing the gift of finally being one of us, fully, or under some misguided quest to rid themselves of their gift. Finding them would prove to be difficult, however. The Camarilla extends its reach to all kindred, but the thin-blooded are not accepted nor trusted under our wing, so they hide from our sight. I'm sure between you, you'll have ideas on where and how to start your search. The most recent victim was found on the Thames. He was a relative no one, a kindred son of Malkov. He went by the name Charles to the Kine. You'll be unaware of this, but the river froze over once more, something that was thought impossible. The ice was so thick, the Kine flocked to it, and almost immediately decided to set a fun fair up. This hasn't happened since 1814. A new London Bridge was built in 1831 that allowed more water from the sea to flow in. Coupled with the construction of the embankment, the Thames flowed faster than ever, and it was thought it would never be cold enough to freeze again, until 2 nights ago. Strangely, the temperature isn't cold enough to freeze the Thames, and this could be an entirely different matter. But a kindred corpse was discovered there last night. The Camarilla moved swiftly, ensuring Kine would not even see the abandoned fair or realize the river had frozen. It was no small task to effectively erase this from history, but the Camarilla can do many things. We've kept the site on ice for you could say. Now, as I understand it, this is the first time you have all met. I shall leave you all to get acquainted with each other and decide how you wish to approach the task ahead of you. I will go and spend some quality time with the mesmerizing Matthias. Good night, kindred. It was such a sincere pleasure to have met you, and one last thing. It is Christmas Eve. Although a lot of the kine are inside, there will still be some out and watching. Probably even those annoying peelers. So a bit of advice. Will your blood around your system, and feign that you are alive. You don't want to draw attention to any of the active hunters in London by not breathing at night.
Yeah, most appreciate this information. And I think it gives us plenty to work with. I'm sure we will have this matter cleared up in a very shortly for you.
I'm sure.
And yes, with this Aldrich, I didn't want to interrupt, but he would have made a show of reacting very positively and politely laughing at all of her puns, through great force of will through himself, but really trying to play it up for this individual. Is there any other questions anyone has before we get to know one another?
I just want to say that. Sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I haven't got nothing to say.
I wouldn't have been playing it up. Thurston would have laughed at every pun. Genuinely.
You get an
Puns
XP
are
point.
below Eveline.
Oh, I did have one thing before you go, Pandora. I understand the motivations for most of these suspects you've given. I could not recall the Samedi. Why they would be involved in something like this. I understand why the Seneschal are thin bloods, but why them?
Have you seen the state of them? No offense, sir. Thurston, is it? But they make Thurston look positively radiant. Such creatures in the way they appear can have nothing but foul intent. They are literally walking corpses.
Are we all?
So, obviously evil must be up to no good. I agree.
I turned to sorry, what was your character's name to
Alistair.
Alistair, thank you. Alistair, she means they look like we don't look like corpses. Yes, we are corpses, but we don't look like them.
Thank goodness.
Nothing
He
my
just gets
clan has to
replied,
worry
starts
about.
staring off into space like, wait, what?
Well, let's find a table, perhaps a drink, and let's discuss, yes?
That's fine with me.
Good. Yeah, Aldrich will look around for a proper place to do some planning, and perhaps see about getting some drinks as well.
Yeah,
Plenty
Thurston
of
would go up
tables
to the
apart.
bar. Sorry.
Plenty of tables for you to choose from. It's up to you merely if you wish to choose one surrounded by other kindred or find somewhere a little bit more quiet.
If people are following Aldrich's choice, which they may or may not, he would pick one where other kindred can see that we've been given an important task and are taking it seriously and planning something like this.
I would probably agree with whatever Aldrich chose for that reason, but not because of its importance, but because of her own importance.
Aldrich will try to make sure that, at least seating arrangement wise, that we follow the proper hierarchy. Aldrich, and he assumes Evelyn will be sitting on one. It's pretty obvious Thurston should be sitting at the opposite end of the table from them. He's unsure about the other two, so they can fill out the middle just fine.
I would go sit down next to Thurston. Why didn't she shake her hand?
I kind of just like motion up and down my whole body, like, you know, some people in the higher echelon don't really like disgusting things, and I get it. I was there once.
Indeed.
That brings us perhaps to our first bit of business here as a makeshift coterie, as it is our clans. It helps to know what we are, where we came from, so we know how to address one another and what we bring to the table. I will start. I myself am, of course, of a clan Ventru, a clan of kings. And then he'll look to Evelyn.
I am blessed to be a daughter of cacophony.
Our coffins?
How well known are the daughters of cacophony in this region and time? Will this be like a role, or is this something that
They would
most with an
be.
introductory knowledge would know?
The clan would
This is the
be
height of that.
known. Whether or not their agenda is known, not so much. But they are certainly famed for their talent and their siren abilities.
Yeah, then just looking with that, I guess Jacob would be next.
Leans forward. Well, Clan Slewbury. Not many others.
Blink a couple times. And Aldrich will very much look at other people's reaction when he says this, because I don't think Aldrich would probably know what that is. He'll look to other reactions and base his off of that.
To be completely honest, I don't think Thurston would react. I feel like he'd be staring at Evelyn.
I think it would be safe to say that not a single one of you would be familiar enough with Clan Salubri, at most whispered rumors.
So if no one else is giving a strong reaction either, it'll be a little unnerving to Aldrich. Now he doesn't know how to act since no one else is giving him any social cues. So he'll just nod and then move on to Alistair.
Why is everybody looking at me?
Please, would you share your clan with us?
Oh, Malkavian?
Okay. Most interesting. And I hate to be presumptuous, but Nosferatu, as he gestures towards Thurston.
I feel like Thurston's kind of sitting in the chair. Like, he knows better than to put his feet up on the table, but he's sitting back in the chair with his arm kind of over the back of the chair in a way that he's very relaxed. He looks very full of himself. And his gaze snaps away from Evelyn, just goes, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's not really that hard to guess. Yeah.
Like to be sure.
I have
Okay.
a question. Thurston, do you still have the same attraction to beauty?
Yes,
Evelyn is beauty too.
I figured. That's why I was staring at you.
Made sense. Clearing that up.
Very well. Well, now that we know what we are all about, perhaps do we have any early recommendations on where to go next? Any of these suspects that were said, does anyone have any connection with any of them that we could make our path a bit easier, or will we be starting fresh with all of them?
Go ahead, Jacob.
No, you go ahead first.
Oh, I mean, I don't have any contacts per se, but I know my way around the streets pretty well. So
Of that, I am sure. And that will come in handy in this, as it seems many of our suspects reside in an undesirable part of the city. No offense. Jacob, you had something to add?
No, I was just saying I'm not that familiar with most of London. I only know little bits of Whitechapel, but that's about it.
I myself, of course, am new to the city and country. Also, I'm hoping this we can do well here, and I'll be fully brought into the fold, as they say. So no early leads. In that case, how do we want to approach this then?
I am quite intrigued by the Thames and why it might have frozen over.
This is most peculiar. Not exactly a suspect in itself, but perhaps you want to sniff around the crime scene then first?
As much as a crime scene is not befitting for a woman of my stature, it looks like I have to stick with this task. So that seems good enough place as any.
I'm much better at speaking to people rather than looking under bricks for clues, but hopefully others here are more observant in that way. Is everyone okay with going to the place where this most recently happened then?
It's fine with me.
Okay. Perhaps we get a drink before we go, and then we make our way, unless there are any other suggestions.
What's refreshment like at this place?
So, based on London's burning and how easy you all had it, I decided to make it a little bit harder in Elysium in Victorian Age. There are mortals under various kinds of dominate powers just wandering around. If you want one, you have to grab one. You can play with your food, and so on.
Is there a bar?
No.
Like for no.
No free
Yeah, I
pretzels
figured
either.
refreshment didn't come in a glass in this case. That's why I asked.
I was gonna get a cocktail. I have to eat food now. I want to use it.
Oh, nice.
You don't
That's why I
in
do it
Victorian
all the
Age.
time with.
Mm,
That's why I did do that all the time as Cedra. But Evelyn does not. Are there any glasses around?
Yes, each table has empty glasses.
Okay.
Thurston is taking one of the empty glasses and is just running his finger around the top of the glass, just as a thing to do. And because of his normal wetness of being a Nosferatu, it just starts making the ringing noise that it makes when you take a little bit of water and run it around the rim of a glass.
Oh no.
No, I can't do it with this one. It's not real crystal.
After a couple rotations of this, Aldrich, unless you stop him, will just reach over and take the glass and just remove it from your reach without even really looking at you. Just like if there's a kid next to you making a fuss and you're just know to take their toy away.
I throw my hands up like, fine, fine.
I can hit a higher note than that anyway.
Is anyone actually thirsty, or should we just get going then? I myself am fine.
I'm all right.
A little peckish. And I'll look around to see if any of the possible meals appear to be high on opium.
Do wits and awareness for me, please.
No. Don't be on tree.
Definitely not Cedar
This is
Eye.
starting out lovely.
Great opening.
Would you like success at cost?
Yes, please.
She's already got the beast.
Eveline wanders her gaze around the room, her mouth beginning to water as she stares at each mortal in turn, completely helpless and supple. Eventually, she finds the target of her quarry. A mortal not just mesmerized by powers of the blood, but also hammered by milk of the poppy. They totally didn't call it milk of the poppy, but come on.
Storyteller's discretion.
It sounds like a Victorian drug.
Lord.
Opium is.
Oh, yeah. What would you like to do now that you have found it?
I go up to. Was it a him? I go up to him. Don't even think about doing anything to. Take that back. I go up to him and say, "Good evening, dear sir." And as I curtsy, I purposely bend forward and show cleavage.
Do that on Twitch.
I had to remember my predator type.
The man jaw drops to the floor and drool appears in both corners of his mouth. He's unable to say anything, but merely lets out a pleased "Ugh."
Chief, properly dot the drool away, bite his neck, but fill a glass up with blood. And sip
Do
on the
your
glass.
predator roll for me, please.
I'm just thinking back to
Oh,
that
shit, I didn't
conversation.
put that in there. What is it for siren? I don't remember seeing that.
In that case, do
Believe
for
it is
me.
manipulation subterfuge.
I think it's something like that.
I don't remember that coming up when I was putting.
Go with manipulation subterfuge. If Bully says that's what it is, you can bet your ass that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Siren, yeah.
Yeah. Its specialty is either seduction. Blah, blah. Oh, Predator pulls charisma subterfuge.
Should I reroll?
No, that's fine. Manipulation fits in
I'll
this
change it for next
instance.
time.
The blood pours directly into the glass tumbler. You even have enough time, and warrant the intention, to lick the wound after, fusing it clean as if nothing had happened. You drink deeply from the whiskey tumbler, and you may slake 2 hunger.
I don't say anything else to him. I just walk back to the table.
Because real quick, because I kind of have an idea with Eveline, also because of the beauty perk. For RP purposes, can everybody describe what their character looks like?
No, because I haven't put that much thought into it yet. I've been busy.
Alistair is
Fine, I'll just
completely
fixate
naked.
on you then.
Crazy.
It looks like this.
I'm just gonna fixate on you then.
I'm fine with that. I can RP this.
Oh god, Thurston flirting with a Maccabian.
Obviously,
but if you-
Eveline is beautiful and dressed like she's upper class, and obviously very full of herself.
I mean, I will say for this purpose, I halfway seem disinterested and keep talking, as you've probably seen, talking, just turning away and talking. I'm still new to this. I don't know how to control it.
Aldrich is also similarly dressed, but Aldrich is quite large. Not necessarily more like well fed rather than like big and strong. I'll probably be wearing quite a bit of powdered makeup and whatnot. A little out of fashion actually, as like wigs and all that stuff was a little more couple decades before, but he's dressed to the nines, but not in style actually, to those actually in the know.
Yeah, and Jacob, he's pretty much how you see him, with his flat cap and everything. But he has his hands quite big. They look quite muscly. They look like they've got lots of calluses and cuts and everything. And there are bits of dirt and soot on his clothes and everything. So
Cool. Thank you.
When she fed, was that within view of the rest of us?
Absolutely.
Could I also do a check to see if, because she was looking for someone on opium, but I kind of do a check to see if I would have very much. I'm observing. I'm pretending like I belong here, but very much paying attention to how other people do things, including feeding in front of other people. So, can I really want to? Would I have noticed that her chosen was also on something?
Do intelligence investigation for me, please.
There we go. Rolling 1 dice for a total of 0.
You attempt to discern Eveline's feeding preferences. Unfortunately, you are unable to determine anything in particular about this man from the outside. He seems to be just as mesmerized as any other mortal, although distracted by great big human titties.
That's a full scandal.
So
All
she
right.
felt shiver. Got it.
In that case, being polite and not watching this as Thurston drools over this scene, Aldrich will take his toy away and just wait patiently for her to return. Probably mostly silence as they wait. I don't know. And actually, Aldrich would like to take a rise if he's also going to look for a drink, and turn to Jacob. Would you join me for just one moment, please?
yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Now I'll join you.
Sort of stepping aside, I'll be looking around the room as if I'm picking someone to feed from. Really, hey, Mr. Jacob, I was embarrassed to say so in front of the others. Not as familiar when you said your clan is Salubri. Is this something London specific that perhaps where I come from is not so well known, or
I'm not sure myself. It was only about 8 months ago, and I don't know much about the clans, what there is, but all I know is my side told me that. Told me the basics, and that's it.
what were these basics then? You seem to be from a clan that I've never heard of, and I thought I knew the clans. Did
Well,
she
you
tell
know,
you what it is
she-
your clan is about? She. Okay.
Well, she just said that there's not many of us left, and just make friends where you can.
Also, quite a
Pretty
rare
much.
breed.
Mm,
It's always good to be rare. That's nice. But did you ask why there are so few of you? Is this by design, or
she didn't give me an answer.
I was curious. Are you not more curious about this?
No, not really.
See. You simply take things as they are and make the
Yeah.
best of them.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
That outlook seems rare as well, especially among our kind. But welcome.
No, thank you very much.
Hey, let's keep this conversation between us two. The others do not need to know that, of what I did not know. Agreed?
Yeah, sure. Fine with
That's
me.
very good. Now come as we return to the table and talk about. Nothing here fits my interest. A shame. Oh, I see Evelyn is back. Is everyone ready to go then?
Yeah, my food. I typically don't like eating in public.
For everyone's sake, that is probably best. Yes.
I hope. What's that mean?
It means
What,
he is.
The feeding in public, or
I don't feed in public.
okay.
I imagine he doesn't do much in public.
Who, me?
I hope you don't either.
This is going great. To the river then.
After you.
Okay. How far are we from the locale?
Well,
Far enough.
the newly formed Coterie step out onto the snowy winter's night. Their first steps on their shared journey together. You have enough time to walk there, and if you would like to discuss anything more together as a group. Otherwise, we can flash forward to the Thames.
I mean, I know you said that not many kind were out because it was nighttime. But are there people walking through the street?
Yes. Not many.
I would just mention that as soon as we go out in public, Thurston's demeanor changes a bit, where he looks less comfortable and he's walking around, not trying to hide, but looks very much like he's trying to avoid people's glares. And also avoid eye contact.
So Thurston is walking out like a typical VTM player.
I would use Blush of Life before we got up close to the first person we encountered.
Do a rouse check for me, please, Eveline. Gain a hunger.
Good thing I ate.
Eveline is the new Xavier.
After seeing her do that, I'll pull my shirt down and try to use Blush of Life too
Do a rouse check for me, please.
to fit in.
Wonderful.
Aldrich will be joining them. We were told to blend in, and we should have some nice breath in the cold air. Should help with that. So I will also attempt to Blush of Life.
Gain a hunger.
I don't think I need to do it because I got Humanity 8. So I think it's...
I think you do a
I'll let
Humanity
you breathe.
8. Humanity 9, however, you wouldn't.
I think I have it pinned somewhere. I can check. No, never mind. That's not it. That's demeanor, not the
I think
stuff
it's
you get with it.
easier at Humanity 8. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get to roll twice. So if you fail, you can roll again. And as long as you pass one of your rouse checks, you don't get hungrier.
That's actually convenient.
Wonderful.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even need it.
Seeing everybody else do it, and he kind of it's like, well, I don't think people are gonna really be looking at me anyway, but I'll do bless your life.
Browse check for me, please, darling. Wonderful.
Man, we really did trade with Miss Hearts, didn't we?
Eveline will walk up to Aldrich and take his arm in hers, so he's like escorting her. It's not proper for a lady to walk alone.
This is true. Even though we were going to a less proper place, we should still bring some class with us if we cannot find it there. I will gladly escort her.
Is this like a market outside?
Not specifically on this street.
So this picture is not a direct representation?
No, I couldn't. It was really difficult to find accurate colour pictures of Victorian London.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So I'm asking, depending on what I'll do. So I'll do nothing. There's nobody in the
It's
street.
like people didn't have cell phone cameras then or something.
No, in fairness, it is it's quite misleading. There are the odd people out on the street, but nothing like a market currently at this time of night. But it is very difficult to find decent Victorian Christmas scenes that aren't basically, oh look, it's Christmas and filled with people.
Fine, I was going to commit larceny. We're good.
Yeah.
You sounded like my character from the Halloween show.
I'm really sad that the thing I wanted to do would actually draw attention to us, so I'm not going to do it.
Is there anything you wish to discuss on your snowy walk over to the frozen Thames?
I would be walking next to Thurston, and you would just hear me real quietly be like, tell him.
I would be studying him. I wouldn't say anything to him, but I'd be studying him.
On the way, I will mention that there is I've made a few. I hesitate to call them friends. There's a few unsavory types who owe me some favors. Perhaps, I'm not sure how good I will be at helping look around, but I may contact these individuals once we do some snooping around the less than ideal locations. So I may need to step away for just un moment, and then I will be right back, depending on what we find at this first place. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Get it.
Perfect.
I mean, if we're just kind of letting everybody know what we're really not good at, I'm great at everything. We're fine.
That laugh was in character.
You are fascinating.
The coven of undead predators walk through the snowy, cobbled stone path. Shit, I've got to find a fucking scene.
I really hope the music changes.
Oh, it will. If I can ever find the damn scene.
This was yesterday. I don't want to hear any more music.
Not a fan of Christmas music out of this.
That's fine.
Okay, there you go. You can just have that. 'Cause apparently I didn't think ahead fast enough. The coven of undead predators walk through the snowy, cobbled stone path, the snow crunching under their weight. On approach to the Grand River, it seems to them to be flowing swiftly, despite the ice-cold temperature. They turn their heads slowly to each other, as Thurston walks closer to the dangerously low stone wall that separates the relative safety of city from the cool, unforgiving flow of the Thames. He leans over the wall, and he peers further. The sight before him fills him with surprise and awe. The Thames is frozen over with a thick layer of ice. Placed upon the ice is a giant Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round, waltzers, and various empty food stands and shies, draped with still extinguished Christmas lights.
I would inspecting the ice. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's a wall between me and the ice, right? Or
A
am I
very
by the
low
ice?
wall. The
Okay.
safest of all walls. Ankle high.
I even though uh even though we see a bunch of stuff on top of the ice, I would go down, hop the very protect skip me.
Thurston has temporarily got a cold from casting Blush of Life. It's all that laudanum you've been ingesting.
Is there a path down, like a proper
Yes!
path or makeshift path?
There's a set of stone steps that lead straight into the river to assist people who wish to commit suicide easier. Seriously, that exists. I don't know why.
You gotta
The
have
path
some
looks
way to
good
go
to me.
retrieve the dead bodies. And there's not gonna hop over. I mean, that's a serious thing back then. There were a lot gonna happen.
I mean, that's where you dumped a body. Put it in the Thames.
Their dead body in the river.
To Eveline, down the path then?
Yes, please.
I'll lead the way.
You guys don't think it'd be weird? Just kind of nobody else is walking down near the river.
No one else is really walking around much anywhere at this time.
Sure.
It's kind of the point. Somebody walks by and sees 4 or 5 of us standing around the river. It's kind of weird.
Sure.
Okay,
If
good enough.
someone does seem a bit upset at what they see or confused about what we were doing, let me talk to them and I will smooth it over.
You don't.
Sure. So yeah, we'll make our way down there, see what we can see.
The Coterie wind their way through empty food stalls and small abandoned attractions, making their way through the maze of mortal pastimes, approaching the giant Ferris wheel. The small stalls and fair attractions open up, forming a circle, almost placed in the centre, akin to a sacrifice placed upon an altar to attract attention, lays a slightly snow and ice-covered body. Parts of his clothes jutting out from the obvious signs of winter that they try to claim the body as its own.
We'll stop
What
short of
social
this.
status does he look like?
An abominable snowman. No, seriously, he is covered in ice and there's just like bits of hand coming out,
You can't
tiny
even see
bits
the
of
okay.
film.
Can't see the clothes or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll wait a few paces back and look towards the others. Well,
I'll wait with them since we're still arm in arm.
perhaps someone should get to digging, but not too deep. Not to bring my line and hook.
Alistair, if you're going to perform as a mime, at least do some actions with it.
But Mike wasn't working. So if he's like, get to start digging it, I'll be like, yeah, start digging. You didn't say anything about not being able to dig. You said you weren't able to look for anything.
Yes. But this is, again, best suited for other clans, I believe. It does not have to be you. I'm sure Thurston or Jacob would be well suited for this as well, if you have an aversion to digging in the snow.
I wouldn't want to break a nail.
Jacob, perhaps will you be a cooperative fellow here and
I'll
help
start
us
digging.
retrieve the corpse?
Yeah. I'll get
Most
on to it.
appreciated.
Digging, completely
I'll
free
start.
action.
Digging. Yeah.
You'll notice as you start digging through that the corpse is completely frozen and extremely delicate, but it is relatively searchable.
I'll start searching the clothing.
Do wits and investigation for me, please. Would you like to stick with that roll? Well, I mean, you could re-roll, but
Yeah,
you're
you
not
can.
going to get any further, are you?
No.
No.
Nope.
Would you like success at cost?
And Grant, the rest of us can look too.
Yeah.
No.
I just didn't want to dig
Okay,
the body out.
that's no problem. Jacob gives the body a once-over with his eyes, cautiously attempts to search one of the pockets, and then thinks better of it without damaging the corpse, and backs away.
Can I see if there are any like items that might have fallen off of the person, like that might be laying around the body, not just on the body, that might have gotten frozen?
Do wits and awareness for me, please.
That's what I was hoping for. Really? Really roll 20.
Sticking with it?
I don't have very high willpower, so yeah, I'm gonna stick with it.
Would you like success at cost?
Sure.
I know the feeling.
Thurston begins to search the general area and vicinity of the corpse, finding absolutely nothing on his first run through, and the anger inside of him rising, and the beast beginning to bark in his ears and mind taking over. He's able to suppress it for the meanwhile, and thankfully, in that time, he's able to find a pamphlet. It's extremely amateur made. It has a caption that reads, "For those who seek change in themselves, come to the 2 towers that will change the face of the city. Seek that which dwells beneath Her Majesty's pleasure." And having to keep the beast so far repressed, you gain a hunger.
Yep.
I disengage from Alistair's arm, walk over to the body, and try to look as proper as I can while I search through its pockets. Hoping to find money and maybe some clues.
That might happen again later. It was Aldrich, not Alistair.
Wits, investigation,
I'm sorry,
please.
Aldrich. A's. I reroll.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm making a mon rolls right now. There we go.
Sorry, I made a mod roll too.
Eveline delicately searches through the body, unfortunately in the process of which she snaps an arm off the body that cleanly breaks. However, as the arm snaps off, a train ticket from the London Underground drops onto the floor. It shows that it is good for a return journey between Notting Hill and Baker Street, and the ticket shows that the journey started in Notting Hill.
I put the arm like back in position to make it look as nice as possible.
I'll just
He's,
pretend like he didn't see a thing.
At this point, I don't think he cares. Did you guys ask him what happened?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You just ask him what happened?
The way of
I don't
talking
think
to a
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna say much. Unless
I don't know who you all are. I didn't know if maybe some of you all could talk to a dead guy.
You seem to be talking to somebody a lot, so if anybody here could do it, it might be you.
No, I can't talk to dead people.
Okay.
And not sure any of us can. I didn't know that was a thing we did. Though, the one group, the way they talk about it, perhaps the Samedi assist in this. If they are not the ones who did it themselves. So what have we found so far? I'm assuming each of you were forthright with the ticket and pamphlet.
Yeah, as soon as you ask, I would hand you the pamphlet.
Over. Two towers. This is not making the most sense to me. Is this familiar to any of you?
I mean, I'm interested in the pleasure part right there at the end, but the rest of it doesn't make any sense.
No idea.
But it sounds like it'd be a delightful affair.
Yeah, if you want to die.
Is
We're
it
already-
obvious what location it's referring to? To people familiar with the city, or is this purposely
Who's
cryptic?
familiar enough with London? I think Jacob.
I have the map up.
I think Jacob's would be familiar enough with London to maybe do an intelligence and investigation roll for me, please, Jacob. You will get the impression it could be talking about several different construction projects currently going on across London, but you're not confident enough to say out loud any particular one suspect.
No, I haven't got a clue at all.
Unfortunate.
The pamphlet it seemed does it look like a cult pamphlet or like a I don't know how to describe this, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it doesn't
Cult
say.
pamphlet looked like.
Yeah, it doesn't say made by cult members in free-range factories or anything like that, if that's what you're asking.
That's fair, yeah.
You have to ask. You have to know.
F12, it's
Okay.
in the developer notes, made by cult member.
Better
Ethically
question.
sourced
sorry.
from cult members that are allowed to eat 3 times a day.
That paper's made by cults.
Better question, sorry. With with my knowledge of the street, like I wouldn't say the streets, but the underground, the Nosferatu-ness nature of myself, would I have heard anything about what this pamphlet's talking about?
No.
Okay. I tried, guys.
So while you guys are trying to figure this out, if you would look, you would see Alistair's down by the guy, like talking to him and putting his ear next to his mouth.
Alistair, do for me. Wits and awareness,
God.
please.
Oh, I was expecting like a cult.
Bad. I'm keeping it.
Would you like success at cost?
Nope.
All right, fuck you then.
Oh, this coder is
least we
going
know.
places.
Yeah, at least we know that the paper is
Okay.
made by
The only reason I say no is because I was not trying to get information out of it. Start being.
Well, it's a good thing because you didn't get any fucking information from it.
Sorry, I love you.
While he's doing this, Aldrich will lean over to Thurston for a moment. You said he speaks to people, things. Do you know what's going on here?
You know, to be completely honest, I think he might be Malkavian. Because he didn't really say outright, but I think this
Yeah,
might
he did.
confirm it.
He said
Did he?
as much.
Oh, did he?
Again,
Okay.
I try not to. Some stereotypes can be quite harsh, but making sure
looks at
other people
Evelyn.
are seeing what I am seeing before I cast the judgment.
I look at Evelyn with a smile and I go, sorry, I just wasn't paying attention, I guess.
But from what I understand, the Malkavians, they do these strange things, but usually there's knowledge to be gleaned from this, yes? Sometimes, hopefully.
I mean, it's a piece to a puzzle.
Perhaps see if you can treat him as a puzzle. I think that would be good. I'm not so fond of puzzles, but he seems to be a little warmer to you. As much as I would love to ask what the hell he is doing, perhaps you can get to the bottom of this.
I'll try.
He asked if any of us could speak to it. We could not, but it seems maybe he can. I think things will go smoother if you work as a middleman of sorts between the those of us on one end of the hierarchy and those of us on the. He looks over to the one with his ear to the corpse.
Thurston just kind of looks at you with like a that look of I feel disrespected, and I just walk over to Alistair and the corpse, and I just go, "So did you get anything?"
No, I told you I can't talk to dead people.
Oh, at least you tried.
Yeah.
Have you tried looking in his pockets though?
I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want my hands to get cold.
Speaking of, did I find any spare change in his pockets?
Because he was frozen, cold. No.
Okay.
No, I'm sitting here looking. Thurston's just sitting there like, but we're vampires. We're always cold.
I know.
Dirk will look over to Thurston once he finishes talking and be like, yes, no, like what? Not actually doing that, but be like, did you get anything?
I
does he
just
do?
shake my head.
What is he doing?
Understands. Okay,
Yeah.
it seems we've exhausted all options here. We have gotten some information that does not make the most sense now, but perhaps with further information, it will all come together and create a picture for us. That picture is not here, though. So I suggest we go on to another stop on our journey, yes?
Okay.
Thurston,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't want to leave yet.
wits and awareness, please.
Okay. I wasn't gonna go searching in his pockets because I'm not very good at specifically looking for something. I'm just very aware.
We're all the detective mission, and none of us.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Investigation this time.
There we go.
Not I.
For that much success. You
Give
find,
me everything that's left.
yes. Thurston runs his eyes over the corpse and notices something on the inside pocket. He reaches down, snapping the jacket off accidentally because it's so frozen solid, and finds a ring with an eye in the centre. The eye occasionally blinks.
Well, that's fascinating.
Next to the ring,
Wow.
he finds a small, handwritten note. The note reads, "Charles, I am worried about you. You've become more alone than ever lately. Ever since you saw that man on Baker Street, I worry you be another victim of consumption. Come see me sometime and have tea. I'll even listen to you talk about that changing thing you obsess about."
I feel like I'm going to regret this. I put the ring on.
It's fine.
I begin to push the body back into the river.
It's all
Can you?
frozen. However,
Yeah, I
Cool.
thought it was
So you
frozen
just
solid.
hear.
I hear that.
What?
That's ice.
the ice beneath their feet lets out a loud bang,
Oh, we weren't on the thing. We were on the ice. You
and
can't
the
push them
sound
in
of
back
crackling
river.
ice begins and echoes into the night. The icy ground they stand upon becomes riddled with larger and larger cracks, and a large jerk nearly knocks him off balance. But we call him Alistair.
I
Yes.
say, I think we should go. I found a ring. I found a note. I don't think we need to be on this ice anymore. And frankly, I don't think I could swim very well.
Shiver, did
To
you
be.
spoke to me or no?
Pardon?
Roll 20. I didn't hear a word you just said. Roll 20 just crashed really bad. And that noise you played was repeating.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm saying I didn't hear it.
I had to refresh
I
the
heard it.
noise.
Ice
See,
is
I-
cracking
I-
beneath your feet.
Okay.
I thought it was a noise that I was personally hearing because I put the ring on and then the cracking happened. I went, oh no, that's bad.
I never even heard it.
Yeah, as soon as the first crack started, Aldrich was heading off the river.
I lift my
And-
skirts and head to the path.
I'm gone.
I look at them leaving and I look
Go.
back. Oh, Alistair's leaving too? Okay, cool. I was going to go grab
Play with
your...
the dead body. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Just as you reach the stone steps to take you back up to the relative safety of the snow-trodden street, you see the entire ice sheet, track, and everything upon it sink slowly into the Thames and get carried away by the flow of the fast river.
Even the Ferris wheel.
Even the Ferris wheel.
There's a Ferris wheel at the bottom of the Thames.
Make a great haven for something one day. Well, that looked quite expensive, but we found clues, so it is worth it.
Ferris wheel was only 2 days away from retirement.
Well, thank God it drowned then. I want to ride on a decommissioned Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Once we're all to relative safety, I think Kirsten's just sitting there like kind of with his hand out looking at his new ring.
Am I to understand you're a pickpocket now? Well, I guess he didn't need it, so it is what it is.
I
Is it
mean,
bad?
it's unique. It actually blinks. And it's a nice ring.
What do you mean it actually blinks?
I pose with it.
Have a thing now.
Oh, look, is it blinking at me as well?
Oh yeah.
Unique indeed.
Let's be honest. It's better on his hand. You don't want to look at it anyway, so he'll keep it hidden.
That's a very good point, actually. If anyone can pull this off, it is you, Thurston. Enjoy your new ring. I hope we
will.
find no more like it. It seems things are perhaps pointing towards this Baker Street, then? Perhaps that should be our next stop? Though I don't know how big of an area it is. Is this something we can pinpoint? It's been mentioned a couple times, or is this too broad of a canvas to search?
No idea.
Aldrich,
Shiver. Oh, okay.
do intelligence and intelligence for me, please.
Oh. So now you want me to roll 2 dice.
Please, sir, can I have some more dice?
Just don't ask me to roll anything with intelligence.
Did none of us take intelligence?
Thurston's had 1 intelligence for a long time.
Well,
Would you
there's
like
that.
success at cost?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Aldrich recalls the note, and the name Baker Street resonates in his mind, bringing forth memories of some famous detective. It seems apparent to him that that would be the most logical place to start.
Yes.
I can't think of a decent payment for that without being really unfair to you, so I'm going to owe you
I'm
one.
fine with unfair.
I'm going to owe
Do
you
you
one.
trip and fall in the snow?
Not that unfair.
He's
Oh,
venture
reasonable.
after all.
He's owing you one. That way, when you get another win, it warrants for being evil.
Okay, that's where we're heading. Perfect.
I can't wait.
I actually, this gives me an idea about when I was learning about the city. There's a location. The street rung a bell, as they say for me. Perhaps I know where to go. If you'd like to follow my lead, unless anyone has other ideas, I am for sure open to them. And
My
we're
fingers
ready to
aren't
start.
again.
Yeah, if you know where we're going, I guess I'm following.
Scepter arm, and I start heading that away.
Are there still people around?
Very sparse.
Fuck it then. I wrap my arm around Alistair's arm.
Are you
I've been
are
waiting
you
for
trying
that.
to mimic
Guys are so
what?
huge.
Are you trying to mimic what Evelyn and Aldrich looked like earlier? I'm so pissed. Yeah. Just don't kiss me.
Or Jacob.
No promises.
Okay.
Is there anything you wish to discuss on your walk to Baker Street?
Yeah, but there's a sax solo going on in my head right now.
I'll talk to Thurston and be like, "Why is he so pushy?"
He seems say he was Ventru. Kind of makes sense that he seems all high and mighty.
I'm
Not
the only
sure
one
what
that
her.
talked himself out of a wet paper bag. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably talk myself out of a paper bag, but
Do every day.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't think you're that bad.
Thanks. I don't think I'm that bad either. Just unfortunate that the whole embracing process left me like this.
Could be worse.
How could it be worse?
You could have 15 people screaming at you at once.
I honestly think I'd probably prefer that.
Are you sure?
You should have seen me. I was gorgeous.
Oh, so is that the thing with the Nosferatu? Is they? I wish it was that easy for us.
Why? What's your process?
Honestly, I don't remember.
That's fair.
The Coterie gather together on the doorstep to 221B Baker Street. The cold winter wind howls into the night, and the few people that are out walking about are bundled up well in winter wear and making their way as swiftly as they can to their destination. The group walk up to the doorstep and knock on the door. Shortly afterwards, it is answered by a tall, slender man with bloodshot eyes.
Don't look at him.
Yes? Who are you? Why are you here?
We were led here by perhaps a mutual friend. I will describe the individual whose body we have just tore the arm off and sent into the river.
He doesn't live here.
No, but I understand he with acquaintances with someone who does, yes?
Are you searching for him?
No, I'm searching for his friend to tell of some bad news.
Ah! You're looking for someone?
That man, did he frequent this location? Do you know who I'm talking about?
There are many men that frequent this location.
The one I just described. Is he familiar to you?
I believe his name is Charles, and we are looking for his next of kin.
Come in. I will take you to the office of someone that can help.
Much appreciated.
You're guided into 221B Baker Street and straight upstairs. The man stumbles into the room that is particularly messy. He throws off various bits of clothing and a violin off a sofa for you all to sit upon. I will go and get Mr. Hemlock for you. Please, take a seat. Who are you?
My name is Aldrich.
Very well. I'll go and get him. Who?
I do the exact same thing I did to Pandora, which is I bow and I put a hand out for him to be able to drape his. I go, name's Thurston. Nice to meet you.
I thought leprosy was extinct.
But
Sit-
don't worry, it's not contagious.
Sit on the couch, but don't peel on it.
No promises, and I wink at him.
The man literally stumbles into an adjoining room, and the coterie can hear various pots and pans crashing and falling to the floor, followed by a flurry of swearing and shouting, and then snoring.
It's definitely London.
Is there anything you wish to discuss amongst yourselves in the meantime?
Before sitting down, I take my handkerchief and wipe the area off.
Does someone want to perhaps take a look around while our host is indisposed?
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
we will get more answers without him than with him.
Before you even say that, Thurston is just kind of looking around, kind of like peeking behind stuff.
Oh, is he public domain?
Well,
Okay. As you're looking around, the same man stumbles back into the room. That's better. I am Hemlock Doyle, world-famous detective. How may I be of assistance? And you will all notice his eyes are still bloodshot, possibly more so.
And this name, I assume, is familiar to us?
I'm world-famous detective. Naturally, my name is familiar to all who are from the world. I assume you're from the world and you're not just from my imagination, because that happens.
I feel you.
Oh, it does happen, doesn't it? Parfait. Perhaps Alistair, you can talk to this individual here, the good detective. Tell him what was found and what we are looking for.
Detective that does those parlor tricks? Oh, read me! Read me!
I don't have any of the documents. You want me to talk to this guy? What do you? Okay, Exhibit A, and I'll hold my hand out.
Ah, good. A challenge.
Stuff out of the pocket.
I'm sorry, fair lady. I would be able to tell you absolutely everything about yourself, including things that you yourself do not know about yourself, but there's no challenge in that. You're clearly too easy to read.
She is visibly offended.
Now what did you bring me? Something interesting, I hope?
Yeah, we found some stuff on a dead body.
Thurston, will you show him the ring, please?
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. So we're just going straight there, like not worrying about the notes, the name, just straight to the ring. All right.
I asked you to present something. You acted like this was a wild request, and now you have a
Present
method
what?
you want to do.
I didn't get anything. I can't talk to dead people.
Are you
let's go
sure
with the
you're
ring then,
real?
The letter. Show him whatever it is we have. Let's get this process going.
I'm sure I've had this conversation before with myself.
Tell me about it.
It's usually about now the elephants start appearing.
Speaking of elephants in rooms, we're like she said to your lovely assistant, we are looking for the next of kin of a Charles.
Charles! Native fellow.
And I was about to say, I'd probably hand him the note that I found with the ring about the Charles, I'm worried about you, blah, 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 blah.
Ah! A particularly interesting client. I mean, he was an interesting fellow. His case was rather dull, really. He would constantly talk about how we are more than the body in which we inhabit and other such matters. Fascinating material, fascinating. Utterly balmy, of course, but interesting. Anyway, he came here and he wanted me to look into a particularly strange matter. He somehow got it into his twisted mind that because the face of the Thames is changing, there is some tie into changing himself from this world. He even brought this flyer that you've shown me with him. Particularly amateur work. I was able to deduce on the spot. The whole thing was a practical joke that he fell for. You see, this advertisement tries far too hard. It attempts to lure those with a weak will in. I've seen many of these before. Most are mere traps to bring in the desperate and the forgotten of the poorhouses. They then find themselves relieved of whatever possessions they have, and soon after, their life. From my research, this is one of those. People go there and don't return. Quite obviously a way to sate someone's urges and at the same time fill their pockets. Perhaps they sell the bodies to hospitals for research. This would be far more suitable to an alienist, far beneath me.
I'm holding up the pamphlet and it's like, so the whole, this was a joke. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, quite clearly. I mean, we live in a world of science. What kind of change do you think we can do? We are born in the bodies we have, we die in the bodies that we have. There's no kind of change that's possible to that. You, of course, sir, would be more affected by this than anyone. I'm quite surprised you haven't found your own advertisement.
I kind of, when he says, we live in the bodies, we die in the bodies, blah, 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 we can't change. I just kind of wiggle my fingers at him and go, oh, if only you knew.
So you've deduced that this is a trick. Do you know where specifically this trick is leading to? It says it's trying to lure someone. Is there a precise location you can give us that it is trying to lure someone to?
Quite obviously, dear chap, this is trying to lure people to the new construction of Tower Bridge. You notice how it's saying the face of the river is going to be changing 2 towers, and then, of course, beneath Her Majesty's pleasure. Well, the Tower Bridge is being built right next to the Tower of London. Her Majesty's pleasure.
You are clever indeed. You have come to the right person, it seems.
And I seriously just had to question myself there. Was the ruling monarch at the time female? And it's like Victorian Age. I need another coffee.
Well, unfortunately, this client he's met a bad fate.
How
the
very
bottom of the Thames.
interesting.
And why is that?
Well, I was expecting him to have died almost immediately upon investigating this advertisement, but it seems that he made it out. It was last week that he appeared here, and if you have only seen him recently, it means he has survived. Very intriguing.
That is intriguing. I was interested in change. He went to this place and wasn't discovered until about a week later. Do you have any other information about this place, these people, this advertisement, as you say?
Well, clearly it's made from home in an amateur style. I would warrant it would be made by street urchins. Probably not an adult. The spelling is disgusting. Although in this day and age, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, of course. Not everyone could be as well educated as I.
So you're saying it's not made by like a cult or something? Okay.
What kind of a moron would be able to discern that just from looking at the picture? Only an idiot would look at this and say, this could have been made of cult machinations. How could anyone deduce that from just a piece of paper?
Perhaps the world's greatest detective could.
Well, the world's greatest detective would be able to look at the paper and discern the writer, but of course, being able to find social groups from such a thing would be merely impossible, and to suggest such a thing, the work of an idiot.
I work with the info. I don't find it.
He just looks towards Thurston and nods. Yes, you may be right. Well, is there anything else we need from our detective friend here? I think we've gotten
I take it, of course, you have
Here.
visited his home in Notting Hill.
Not sure why that would be important. We're more interested in his fate at the end, not where he came from. Why should we visit this? What will
Why,
we find
naturally,
there?
of course. A thorough investigation begins at the start and ends at the end. It seems as though your investigation began at the end, rather than the
I like
start.
taking shortcuts when they present themselves to me. And if they don't, I like making my own.
A fair way to investigate. I'm sorry, Miss, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, Miss.
Eveline. And I present my hand.
He just
Not
looks at it. Yes, that's a hand.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Perhaps you may find more clues at the start, rather than at the finish line.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm not used to doing such things. This whole investigation thing is so beneath a woman of my stature.
Then more
Also just
reason to enjoy yourself. Is it not a Christmas tradition for those of high stature to pretend to be the servants on Christmas Day? Such laughs.
This isn't a celebration we normally did.
I actually found great joy in it. It was fun. I got to I got to try and sweep the chimney every Christmas. It was great. I loved it.
You were raised with some status?
I mean, yeah. And oh, honey,
Happened
I
to
was
you, poor man?
gorgeous.
Shiver. Is the clock on the wall or is it one of the standing grandfather clocks?
It's a standing grandfather clock.
I go over to make it stop ticking.
Oh, thank God, I hate taking...
I was gonna do this earlier, but I figured I'd let it. So I'm curious if he notices though.
You just grabbed the pendulum.
Just stop it.
He'll raise both his eyebrows, look at you out the corner of his eyes, but carry on talking to the group.
I just look over my shoulder like, what?
I was
Is
seeing
that-
mostly Coterie just nodding in appreciation to you.
Is there anything else I can assist you with? It seems I've got to call in someone to repair my clock.
I cannot think of anything, but perhaps the others. I'll look around to the rest of the group.
Unless, of course, you would like to join us. This is an investigation.
It's Christmas. I plan on staying at home and imbibing myself with laudanum.
Oh yeah, he
Try
did
opium
say
next
you're
time.
supposed to pretend to be things you're not, and he is an investigator, so it would be kind of weird to go on an investigation.
I
You
follow
should
that logic.
kill people. I hear that's a big thing these days.
Well, good luck on your clock repair, and thank you for your help. And Aldrich will stand to leave.
Everyone heading out?
Yeah, I just give him like a little like effeminate like wave as I leave.
When Aldrich stands, I present my hand out to Aldrich to have him help me stand up.
Aldrich will just sort of put her hand out and help lift her, following a little bit of etiquette. Almost giving his hand to the detective, but seeing how it's gone with the others, he's not going to waste his time.
The group leave the house, heading onto the snow-covered street of London. As they step out onto the street, a small child runs into them, doesn't look back at them, and runs off, entering a nearby alley. Aldrich, already suspicious, checks his pockets and finds them emptied of their contents. But we'll take a break here and be right back.
You know, look, context. Where is this voice going? Look, context clues are important. I don't think he was telling us to. But we could always check.
Urchin!
Your mic didn't pick all that up. What'd you say?
And that little urchin, he stole from him.
Oh, that makes way more sense. Instead of just blurting out yeah, never mind. Sorry.
I mean, everyone saw the child run into us, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I would assume they'd be able to put two and two together there. Yeah, so I'm heading towards the alley, dropping
Malkavian, really?
Evelyn's arm, and then I'll be, since it went to an alleyway, which I assume is dark, I'll be activating Eyes of the Beast, so I could clearly see down this alley.
The group enter into the alleyway and can see the back of the same street urchin, standing there, not even hiding, as he empties out Aldrich's wallet onto a pile of misbegotten loot on top of a wooden box.
There, you little swine! Drop that right this instant!
I'm so sorry, Miss Hartz. No way, love. Get your smelly old cunny away from me.
Aldrich will not waste time
That-
with this.
Him.
Your
He'll
your
just
mic
say-
out, tarts.
I didn't.
It's like
We're
it
not
cuts
getting
out the louder you get.
Did he just say what I think he said?
No, I'm gonna wait for Aldrich.
Sorry, I was waiting to see if she cut back in. Yeah, he'll just gesture. Come here. Compelling.
Ooh! Show me compel. I need a refresher.
I know you did set that up.
I haven't set that up here. Ah, yes. Yes. The little street urchin turns around, and not even knowing why, he starts walking towards you. At the same time, a group of teenage urchins walk out of the sides. They advance on the Coterie in a threatening manner, telling you that you can either leave now, or they'll lay down some hurt on you. I can't even bring myself to speak like that.
And this is probably going to go terribly. I would probably cut in front of Aldrich and just put my hands up and be like, well, hold on, we don't want any trouble here. Look, my friend doesn't like his things being stolen. You get it. But
as you're speaking to one of the
Yeah.
teenagers, they take the wooden plank and hit you in the knee with it.
Yeah.
I hold my hand out and I say, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't get a good look at that. Could you do that again? And I'll cast Dementation.
Oh, you motherfucker. We're at. We'll come back to that. First of all, Thurston,
Oh,
Yeah.
you motherfucker. I love it.
do you want to dodge or hit him back?
Dodge.
Dexterity and athletics, please.
Uh-oh.
We're losing everybody.
Okay, yeah.
As the wooden plank swings in your general direction, all of a sudden, your supernatural senses take over, and you're able to skillfully move out of the way as you just hear the wooden plank hiss through the air, missing you completely.
I just shout, hey, there's no need for that, and then I'll let him. fuck these
Show me
kids in the head.
dementation, please.
All right.
Fucking hell, did they make this long enough?
I copy
Oh, this
I
is-
copy everything. I don't think
Looks like you copy
it's an
pasted
amalgam.
more than once.
Oh, maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll
I need
fix
to
it.
write that in.
Usually
No,
when
I'll just
usually
copy-
if he says show me, we click that just so he can read the power again. There's just a lot to keep track of.
No, you
It says
copy
we have to
multiple.
memorize literally everything in the book.
I was say mine didn't pop up with the stuff.
Now, by the
You
way.
have to
Okay.
purposely click on it.
So you can use this on one person by the look of things.
Yeah, I have to start subtle conversation or however I
Yep.
worded it.
So first
Do it
of all, do a
again.
rouse check. Do a rouse check for me, please.
Okay.
Bully, next to
Oh.
the description of the thing, there's a button that says display. That's how you got it to pop up.
So you can use dementation on several people, but it's a rouse check for each one.
Yeah, but I'm just doing it on the one for now.
Okay. Would you like to
Because
cast this
hopefully,
on the one that is attacking Thurston? Or a
yes,
different one, right?
the one attacking. Yeah, my buddy. Don't hit my buddy.
Let me
I'm gonna try
scroll
this
half
again.
a mile up. Oh, okay.
There, that's much shorter.
Oh yeah, that's so much better.
I have it ready, by the way. My manipulation discipline.
So your manipulation and dominate versus the urchin's composure and intelligence. This is
Yeah.
not going to go well for the poor little urchin.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
I'm not reading that.
Yep. So what are you saying to this urchin?
So I'm new to this power. So after what I said, I said hit him again.
Hit Thurston
Whoa,
again?
whoa, you can't.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, you can't do that while I'm not looking. Hit him again.
All right.
And
So
cast
the urchin
Dementation on him.
is going to try and hit Thurston again with a plank of wood. How would you like to respond, Thurston?
I just go, whose side are you on? And I try and dodge again.
Dexterity.
Gotta
and
remember, we're
athletics,
still
please.
new to this.
Yeah, yeah.
We are still
so-
kind of brand new.
I don't want to ask this, but is there any, because I'm dodging again, is there any modifiers to this?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
So you take 1 point of superficial damage as the
Got it.
wooden plank crashes into your kneecap.
I stomped my foot. Damn it! Sorry, Thurston. Start cursing to myself.
You're an idiot.
I'm an
Just
idiot.
so matter of fact.
I'm not wrong.
I just love the way she said it. That was great. Whose turn is it?
I mean, we're not officially in combat yet, so however you want to proceed.
Does the one is who spoke up out of the human gang? Do one of them seem like they're the leader of the little bunch?
Yeah, I mean, he's the tallest of the bunch, so he would probably be the leader.
Do I cause superficial damage to his willpower, by the way, even though he hit him back? Says the user may attack a single individual each turn with manipulation, dominate versus composure, intelligence, causing superficial damage to their willpower.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you want?
Chocolate.
Okay, come right
Just in the middle of combat. I want chocolate, please.
He is
I
the Malkavian.
Treat it that way. I did it. I'm
Mhm.
playing this on purpose because of that. Thanks, baby.
But yes, Aldrich.
Just look.
Did you want to? I don't know if you were going anywhere with the large child.
Oh yeah. So I have to look something up here. Yeah, just gonna look at him and lean in for a moment. You need to get yourself. Tell all of your friends to leave immediately and not to make themselves seen by me or my friends again. I will use mesmerize.
I believe on an unprepared mortal, you don't even need to roll, do you?
I do not,
yeah,
but
I
I do need to rouse.
Okay. Wonderful.
There's that.
Expert dealing with that, I have to say. The child, still reeling from Alistair's mental attack, stares at you open-mouthed, crosses his eyes, tilts his head and turns around and says, "We're gonna go now, lads. Let's just leave these guys alone. They look fucking weird." And the rest of the teenagers there just sort of look to each other, Tunnels. But they know better than to question Billy, who's already beginning to walk off. The rest of them tuck tail between their legs and just leave the scene.
As they run away, I yell after them. Good for nothing, children. I hope you end up in a factory.
Oh, that's serious.
Thurston's just rubbing the back of his knee. He's like, "No, I mean, they were mean, but that's a little uncalled for, you know. Those factories are dangerous. Kids losing fingers and whatnot."
I'll retrieve
Hand for
my
hand.
stolen goods. If there's anything else of interest in this pile, be my guest. I will not judge you for it. Thurston, are you okay? This one got quite a swing on you.
Yeah,
Quite a
nothing I
couple
can't-
swings on you. Look at look at Alistair who had him swing again.
Yeah, nothing that won't just buff right out.
What? You've never looked and told somebody to do something and they did it?
I do it all the time. People typically listen to me. I said nothing of this disparaging.
No.
While they're talking, I will, still trying to look
They-
properly, rummage through that pile.
Free roll.
I'll
Well,
get rummaging.
free success. Find a few bits of money. Nothing particularly expensive, a sixpence here and there. And a brass pocket watch. Still working.
Oh, good. We can figure out the time.
I pocket the money, take the watch, and take a look at the watch. Anything special about it?
It's broken now.
Yes, it doesn't work anymore.
Let's do GMT time, Shiver. It's middle of the night.
You can, accurately represents the time. I'm not asking what the actual time is.
You have a look at the watch and you realize that it's close to midnight, that there's something evil lurking in the night.
It's an impressive watch, if I can tell you that.
You gonna keep going with that?
No.
If the watch is nothing but value, I just pocket it. Wait, is it a men's watch? I'm assuming it's a men's watch.
Yes. Women in this time period are not allowed to even know how to tell the time.
We could
I thought they had necklace watches.
I know, I was exaggerating.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we could melt that down, make some money off of that.
Because I have one of those and I almost wore it actually.
I mean, do you just want money? And I pick up a piece of.
Oh, I already took all the
whatever.
money.
Oh, you did? Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I took all the money.
She'll lose a hand for that later on.
Yeah,
Steal
let's just
it?
say, like,
They stole it. I'm taking it back. If I find the rightful owners, I'll give it to them.
Didn't he get stolen from? And I point to Aldrich.
He took his stuff back. He said what was left was free reign.
That's true. Yeah, justice was done here in this alleyway. Good on us. I'll offer my arm again to Notting Hill.
I take it.
I offer my arm to Alistair.
He hangs his head low and puts his arms around yours. He's not upset about that, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Heading to Notting Hill? From here, it would be wise for you to take the underground to save time.
Is it operating?
It is in our universe.
Okay. I've got a ticket.
You each
Yes,
buy.
if that will save us time, I have no problem going to the underground.
You each buy a ticket for the underground.
Alrighty.
Head down and through the ticket machine. Awaiting a steam train that arrives. Still a marvel to you in this day and age. A giant underground flaming monster of iron and steel that manages to glide silently, somehow, underneath the streets of London. Is there anything you wish to subtly discuss on your train ride?
It smells like piss down here.
Wait till
I
you
look
get
at
to the actual sewer.
Thurston.
Yeah, we all look at theirs.
I mean,
Yes, it
it's
smells
it's
like
not
that
too
down
bad
here.
it's once you start living here, you kind of get used to it.
Also, that is true. Your kind actually lives down here.
Yeah, it's easier to get around.
I see.
Is it though?
And you're okay with this? You don't wish to improve your station?
Improve, yeah. But I mean, we are a stealthy bunch, but we don't have to work as hard to do that when we're down here.
I feel like the better reason would be and Aldrich and Evelyn don't no offense, but the dirtier it is, the more you people stay the fuck away. I probably don't say that word. I don't know if they curse back then.
Well, of course.
No, that is a fair assessment. Absolutely. No offense taken.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming down here either, but yeah.
Is it fair to say that I have a satchel on with perfume inside that I could sniff?
Yeah.
Now, when we get to Notting Hill or get to where this Charles is from, what direction do we want to take this? We sort of stumbled upon it with the eccentric detective, and again, I'm used to telling people what to do, not asking them questions. What angle do we want to take this at? What are we trying to get here? I want to go in and make a fool of myself or any of us.
Well, he said that I think this is where the guy's house is. We can find any clues of maybe what he was looking into, because he was looking into this practical joke or whatever. And he didn't die immediately, so he must have been researching it a bit before he finally went there and bit
That's
the
true.
bullet.
He was investing a change of the person, the being, the body and mind. Yes, something of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know. He may have stumbled upon something of our society that he should not have. Which brings me to another point. Does anyone here have a way of knowing a surefire way if someone is of our society or not?
Yeah, I know how to sniff out a kindred if we find one.
That is very good to know. Perhaps
How that work? I can sniff. I should learn that power.
you should use this freely. I believe I'd like to know who we're dealing with immediately. I have a strong suspicion the detective was of us.
Yeah, I almost did it to the detective, but he looked way too tired to be kindred.
Could always just make him forget.
That's
Way
true.
too high.
What?
He was way too high to be kindred.
I understand that kindred can also indulge in the modern medicines.
Through the blood.
Exactly. So I've heard. Okay, so we will go. We will see what he was investigating and see what sort of trouble he found himself in. Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect.
I'm listening to Alistair. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a cult.
If you're right and that pamphlet was cult made, that makes you even a better detective than him. So
We should
Let's
check and
hope
see if they
they
make a lot of money off of this.
Yeah. I mean, she did threaten to send that kid to a factory. Maybe we'll go to the paper factory.
You threaten? Don't kids just work in factories?
Yeah, but she was threatening to send those kids to a probably even like more dangerous factory. I imagine a paper factory is pretty dangerous.
I
That's
heard her say
paper
she
cut.
hopes they end up in a factory. I thought she was wishing them well, lucrative careers.
Ooh, as punishment, we could pour alcohol in their hands.
It's cruel and unusual, and perhaps an option.
I'm here all night.
The train journey
Children.
carries on, with Alistair suggesting various methods of torturing children along the way, which he seems frighteningly good at.
Use, yeah.
Eventually, the hulking mammoth of iron and steel comes to a halt at the Charing Cross. I don't know where I'm going. At the Notting Hill Underground Station. The Coterie head out onto the street. The area of Notting Hill is filled with large houses and businesses. It's one of the streets in a city that hardly sleeps. Even now, in these early hours, people wander the streets searching for the newest copy of their favourite newspaper to buy, purchase fresh fish, and see if they can buy the latest imports that the Empire provides for them from the colonies. Thurston, having checked the note over, knows exactly the house to send them to that their victim lived at. They walk up to the house on the front door and stand on the doorstep, deciding how best to enter.
Was this
Mm.
signed by anyone, Shiver?
There wasn't a particular signature on there, but as is customary of the time for such high-end areas as Notting Hill, it featured the address in the upper right-hand corner.
So I was
Okay,
going to
so-
ask, is this a middle class neighborhood? Higher end neighborhood?
I would suppose it would be middle class at this particular time because businesses and their owners live here. Yes, you there, the mad one with your hand in the air.
This potentially might fuck us, but we're in Victorian, so there's not really much to do. How long does Blush of Life last?
Whole game, once you've cast it.
Oh, that's even
Nice.
better. I was waiting for you to be like a scene, and I was like, bah. All right, cool. I was really worried about that. I was like,
So we won't know
Hmm.
now you'll be like, you should be doing this more often.
who specifically was looking for him, but it's enough to go off. We'll wing it. Okay. Now simply not.
Oh, I would hasten to add, it would be a fair guess that at least one of you could work out that the handwriting is very feminine. Little hearts
Just
from the
on
way
the
it was-
eyes.
Yeah, just from the way it was written, I kind of got that.
Good to know. Okay. I shall knock.
You knock on the door, and nothing happens.
Is it locked?
It is.
Does anyone have a good way of getting inside without causing too much of a ruckus?
I mean, I'm pretty good at getting into different places.
Parfait. After you then. And I'll still stand at the doorway, but wait for Thurston to do whatever he's gonna do.
Is there an alley nearby?
There could be, yes.
Go off the alley.
Just because, I mean, I do have A dot and larceny, but I kind of want to do
You have
this
A
more
dot?
in a,
Oh,
I have
or
A
silver
dot. I have good dexterity though. But because Thurston's actually kind of used to breaking into places stealthily to feed, is there a window that could be easily gotten to?
Yes, there will be a window to the front room right next to the front door.
I'm not quite sure how windows worked back in Victorian times, but
Typically, they're made out of glass.
Yeah. I just meant how they're opened.
They probably opened this way, didn't they? Didn't they? Weren't they have a way to like shutters?
It's the same. Some
Oh,
open
still- okay.
shutters,
Ours-
some open up and down. Gravity was not
Can-
invented post-Victorian era.
Like 150 years ago. A lot of stuff worked.
True. Can I stealthily try and open the window?
Yes. Dexterity and larceny for me, please.
Damn it.
You're breaking
It-
in, dude. It's always gonna be larceny.
Well, but I have a specialty called break-in, and it's for stealth.
So add a dice.
Add a dot.
But it's for stealth, and I'm not using stealth.
Breaking in. Oh, yeah.
Unless Shiver says I can use it.
I'll
Yeah,
let
but that's
you add
once you're
the
in and you're
modifier,
stealthing
yeah,
around.
because it is a break-in.
Oh, like the
That-
predator specialty. It gave
Yeah,
you. Like, yeah, that one's
Mhm.
weird. Towards it gives you breaking in, but not larceny.
Yeah, because
Not
that's why I was
larceny.
trying to do it differently. Was because I was like, yeah.
It's for feeding. You don't do
Oh,
larceny to feed. That's the point. You broke in to feed.
Are you sticking with it?
Glad I walked away.
Shiver looks
Um,
way too pleased with himself.
Just get an IOU like I did. It'll be fine.
Not for a messy critical. Messy critical is automatically a yeah. This is bad.
No, I was joking. I assume
Um,
this is terrible.
Not always. It works.
No, I could. I have really
gonna
low
split
will. Yeah, no, fuck it, fuck it. I'll leave it.
Good.
Thurston checks to make sure that not a large amount of people are looking over as he walks over to the front window He attempts to break through the lock, lift the window and enter in as he has done so many times before to feed. Unfortunately, he is unable to break the lock. He loses his patience as the beast rushes forth, screaming in his ears and mind that he should be able to just break this mortal pane of glass and enter as he wants, being a blood god of unrivaled power. He clenches his fist, smashes the window, reaches in, unlocks it, and opens the window.
I activate Silence of Death.
Okay.
I go in through the window and I go around and I unlock the door from the inside.
I think you know what you did wrong here. I'm not even going to point it out. I'll step in.
Wait, no words come out of my mouth. I just you see me mouth the words. I know it was a bad time.
I step in, but as I step by Alistair, I whisper, "It's
You don't step
proper
by
to
me.
hold the door." I'm
not
sorry.
there.
As I step by
Just not-
Aldrich, stop picking such similar names. As I step by Aldrich, I whisper, "It's proper to hold the door open for a lady," and step in.
Noted.
What's funny is as you say, the door probably would have been held open by Thurston, because I unlocked it and would have let you in, and I would have been like, "Yes, it's very proper."
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, we'll
Shit.
enter. A lookout, is Alistair following, or is he looking for an alleyway?
I went into an alleyway. I would have been gone, you guys. I'm only going there for one thing. It's not like I want to dilly-dally around.
Oh shit!
I'd go there to cast a discipline just for Shiver. So he knows
Wait.
what the fuck I'm doing.
I might have an issue.
Folklore.
I don't know how this
block,
works.
perhaps.
Oh,
I
no.
can't cross the threshold without being invited. I do not step in.
I love it. Watchdog. Fire.
I don't know how this power works, but Thurston is sitting there with the door open, going, "Are you gonna come inside?"
Aldrich will just sort of look at her too. Is there a problem?
I don't know how this power works.
Is it a power or is it a
It's a
It's probably a
floor.
flaw.
It's a flaw, yeah.
wall?
It's a flaw.
Yeah.
She literally is
That's how
unable.
it works.
You know that scene in What We Do in the Shadows, where they're just trying to walk into the car park, and they're like, it's not going to work. It can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. That's what's kind of going on right now.
I mean, yeah, I understood that much. The part that I don't understand is, does it have to be the owner of the house that has to invite them in, or can anybody invite them in?
That's for you to work out and me to know.
That's fair. I was just stating.
You can also willpower yourself through it, but
Mm.
So, Thurston, are you inviting me in?
If you may, and I motion after you.
I attempt to walk in.
I'll let you do that. That'll count.
Okay.
'Cause
I'm
I
like,
was gonna
otherwise
do
we're not
that
going to get
anyway.
anywhere.
No, that's
Yeah,
good. That's
it-
good to know though. 'Cause then you can use it against her later on.
Hmm. Yeah,
Be a
no, like I
bitch.
was gonna do that regardless. I was gonna do that regardless. I was just sitting here going, "Is this gonna work? Because if this doesn't work, I don't know what we're gonna do."
I do. I would have been like, climb through the window.
That's true. It's not a threshold.
It wouldn't work.
That's
but
not
still.
proper.
It would. Yeah, it wouldn't work, but still.
The Coterie enter into the house, finding it extremely bare by anyone's standards.
Doesn't he even have a butler?
in this neighborhood, perhaps not. I'm not so sure. We made quite a ruckus getting inside. I will wait by the door in case curious bystander decide to investigate, I'll make sure they go away. Should make quick work here, though.
This is like a townhouse, right, Shiv?
Yes.
About how many stories did it look? Two or
Like
three?
2 floors.
Okay. Can I just, because I have Silence of Death on, can I try and sneak around the bottom floor to make sure it's clear of anybody?
Yeah. I'll let you do that for free. And you find... Well, do it for me, actually. Wits and awareness, please.
Okay. Wits.
Thurston searches through the bottom floor, attempting to see if the area is clear. Fortunately, he's unable to find any sign of Kine activity, living or otherwise. As he searches through in the kitchen, he finds, laid out on the table itself, a green bottle with congealed blood inside.
Evelyn went in, right? And you didn't. It was Evelyn or Evelyn. I would probably take the bottle. I'd probably point the bottle out to Evelyn and just be like, whispering, that's all I noticed down here. I'm gonna go check upstairs real quick. To make sure that there's nobody in here before I give it a proper look around. I don't know why I didn't do that in the voice.
I guess I'm down there, so I will go and look through, like, if there's any desk or anything.
Do intelligence and investigate. No, sorry. Yeah, forget your intelligence is in the toilet. Do wits and investigation for me. No? All right, do
You're right.
intelligence and investigation for me, please.
1.
Alistair attempts to search through the only chest of drawers on the entire floor. Unfortunately, as he nears it, the overwhelming compulsion to stop searching through it and just talk to it to see if it will tell him its secrets, rather than have to invade its personal space, overwhelm him. And he just stands there, talking to the inanimate piece of furniture, expecting a response.
Tell me your secrets. I start caressing it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, dude, normally that's like my thing, but
I
now
look-
it's just weird.
I look over my shoulder. Speak now. Tell you everything. It's okay. You can open.
Has anyone else found anything?
I will take the bottle of blood that's on the kitchen table and sniff it.
I mean, it smells like blood.
Okay. I was
If
just
you're
waiting.
looking for
yeah.
whether or not it's been laced with anything or if it's been affected by any kind of other substances, it's completely bereft of any foreign invaders. It just merely smells of blood to you. Old.
Okay.
Congealed blood, of course.
Guys, I think it went that. Never mind. It's just a shadow.
Shh. Quiet. We're trying to be quiet. I'm sorry, we're trying to be quiet.
Is that what you call what you did coming in here? Got it.
He has a point.
I'm not yelling. And I was waiting for them to look around and whatnot. I'm going to try and stealthily go upstairs and case the place.
What are you looking for? Anything in particular? People.
I'm trying to make
I'll
sure
let you do that for
there's
free.
nobody in here.
You look around. sneakily, letting no single noise leave your body as you search the house, room by room, just sticking your head in to make sure it's empty of any life, and find, to your great surprise, absolutely no one living in the house. Aldrich, are
Then
you
I'll-
still standing on the doorstep of the house?
Yeah, I'm by the door.
Okay.
I'd be inside though. I wasn't waiting outside. I
Oh.
was waiting inside.
Oh, okay. Carry on then.
Yeah, and I was just in case someone saw anything weird or the broken window and decided to investigate. I was gonna open up as if it was my house.
Okay.
Can I re-roll to look in this desk?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like real up next to it. I'm like, please open. And I will re-
Intelligence and investigation, please.
The seduction.
Yeah.
Call it.
and I'm just like I'm holding it, rubbing the
Yeah,
around.
the
I'm like,
handle to pull it up. Yeah.
please open.
Alistair feels like he's on a third date with the chest of drawers and gently runs his hand along the wooden frame. I can't believe I'm going to say this sentence out loud and it doesn't mean what I think it means.
Why do you think they call it a chest?
He grabs the knob and gives it a gentle pull, revealing the contents inside. He finds notes upon which is scrawled various treatises about change and the futility of existence.
You hear me when I open it? I'm like, ooh, and I wiggle my fingers and just start rummaging through. I'll probably throw most of it on the floor. Yeah, I'll probably just throw most of it on the floor, looking for something shiny. So yeah, there's shit on the floor for you all to read.
Dad?
Yep.
Once I found out that there's nobody up here, I would probably go back through each room, doing a once over to see if I notice anything.
Wits and awareness for me, please.
I'm trying to be super vague so that way you make me use wits and awareness.
Success.
Let's...
Thurston systematically walks through each room upstairs, giving each one more than a cursory glance. In the bedroom, or at least what he assumes to be the bedroom, as it has a pillow thrown on the floor, he finds several drawings. They all seem to be drawn from the same place on the bank of the Thames. They overlook the Tower of London, and seem to be from several different times, showing the river without Tower Bridge, and then its construction slowly appearing.
You said that the downstairs was pretty scarce. Is there any real furniture in the rooms up here?
Not really.
Okay.
A chair.
Yeah, when you said a pillow, I'm like, with no bed?
Correct.
Don't throw the pillow in the river. I say
Or a
that in
cat.
character, by the way.
What? Okay.
You're downstairs.
Bad luck. I thought he came back downstairs.
I will have brought the picture down.
Oh.
So yeah, you can talk to me.
As the papers hit the floor behind Alistair, I start picking them up and reading them.
It's
There's
all-
a few... Go ahead.
It's all spins on basically the same general premise about change and how existence is completely meaningless.
There's a bunch of empty rooms upstairs. This is all I could find. But I could maybe double check if you really want me to.
I'll go with you and check.
Yes, have him do it once over. Otherwise, it looks like we're on the right track. This location, the Tower Bridge, everything seems to be pointing there still. This is good.
I stand at the top of the stairs and I say, if you put those back in, you be gentle with her. Turn around real quick and walk into the one of the room.
I do the whole run a finger along the top of it and look for dust to see how clean it is.
Oh, I
You'll
thought you were
find-
going to start caressing the thing.
Not Cedra.
Evelyn runs her finger very slowly and seductively over the thick, hard wood. She finds scarcely any dust on there, maybe a week's worth at that, enough to certainly make her grimace with disgust.
No maid either.
I will assist with looking through the room and actually like looking. So if there's beds, I'll look under the beds. I won't just peer into a room and be like, nope, nobody's here. Like the Nosferatu.
I would like to assist by just if he starts looking like he's doing a Malkavian thing, like he did downstairs with the dresser, I just try and snap him back to focus.
Okay, you don't need to roll for that.
Okay.
You find the chair without any cushions on it, and the pillow thrown on the floor. You find no additional evidence.
I think it might be time to go.
Shiver, was there a chair at the desk?
The desk that you were getting it on with?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I take the chair downstairs to put it at the desk.
Okay.
Doesn't want it to be lonely.
I gently scoot it in.
And when he comes downstairs, he sees me shoving the papers back in the desk and slamming the drawer shut.
As I gently scoot the chair and I just pat her. Sorry.
All right, let us reconvene here. Is there anything else that was found upstairs?
Other
I see you
than
found a nice chair to pair with this desk.
I don't know why it was upstairs. It's really...
That is suspicious. That I'm sure is a clue as well. The blood, let's bring that with us, the bottle of blood. I don't know if we need the rest. Seems that we already know where we're heading. I don't know
It's
if we really
full
need
of
to necessarily clean up after ourselves, though. It is still worth having. I'll carry it on my person.
Ew.
It's bottled. It still smells more pleasant than other things. Casting the quickest glance at Thurston. All right then. Does this make our next step the construction site, the Tower Bridge?
As soon as you glance at Thurston like that when you said that, he just puts his hand on his chest in a way of like in offense, you know? But doesn't say anything. And then when you finish, he would probably say, "Yeah, that's our next clue."
Excellent work, everyone. To Tower Bridge.
To the
Everyone
paper
heading out?
factory.
Onto the street.
Would I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind. Don't worry about me.
Okay. You enter out, exit out onto the street of Notting Hill.
You enter the outside.
Yeah. Making your way towards the underground in order to make your way once more to Tower Bridge. On your way there, Thurston is tapped on the back of his shoulder by a stranger.
Do I know who it is?
Nope.
Oh, it's not him.
Kind of hesitantly, I turn around.
The stranger looks at you and says, "I know exactly what you are." Reaches into his inside pocket very quickly, takes out a crucifix and puts it in your hand and then runs off down the street. You take 2 aggravated damage.
Oh my god.
There's your cost.
Ah, okay. That was good. I know you said earlier that people didn't cuss much back then. But Thurston throws the crucifix just in a random direction.
Let me just say, I doubt they said very many curse words that were as refined as what we say now. Like I don't say or
I was
the C
gonna
word that likes to throw around.
I was
They
going
probably
to
would have
shout.
said that more often than the F-bomb.
Yeah, well, I was gonna shout motherfucker as I threw it, which is why I said, yeah, I figured that one didn't exist.
The Victorian equivalent.
Jesus, Joseph and Mary.
You probably would have been like, "Oi, cunt!" And then like, yeah, calling the person who put it in your hands up. Yeah.
So all this happened very, very quickly, I assume. Walked up, handed him a gift, and took. Okay, turning around. What does the matter? What's going on now?
Stupid. I don't know what to call people now. My brain's confused.
Cunt.
Even worse.
Fucking yeah, zealot. Give me a crucifix.
You're welcome.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? Are you religious?
I show him my hand and the somewhat cross-shaped burn that's on my hand.
Wait, are you okay? Do we need to do something about this? What? I don't understand.
It's fine. It'll heal. It'll take a bit longer, but it'll
Seem
heal.
quite calm for someone who just survived an assassination attempt. Does this happen to you often?
I mean, I wouldn't really call it an assassination attempt, but I think it was just an upset person. Probably thought I was some hooligan that needs Jesus.
It's a thing that
Okay,
happens.
well,
I walk
have you
over and
seen
pick up
me?
the cross,
Okay,
put it in my pocket.
fine. It does nothing to you.
I know.
Perhaps I noticed earlier you and Alistair were joined in arms. Perhaps we should should continue doing this in case someone tries us again.
I don't understand. I mean, look, I'm okay with it, but that might make things worse.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean,
I mean, we're
I'm
just
pretty
mocking
okay.
you, but yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
is that what
Doing
you're
it to be
doing?
safe. The second you didn't do it, look what happened. That shows me that you should never stop doing this.
I
don't
think they
want to
just
see
saw
you
us
anywhere
break into
without
the
a buddy in
house.
your arm. Okay.
I think they just saw us break into the house.
What are you? Just friends? Okay.
To be safe. It would make me feel better. I would hate that something happened to either one of you.
I just look at Alistair. I go, I kind of agree with you. I think it'll just make things worse. But if you're thinking
You know
about
what?
right there,
I get real close to you and I'm like, if it makes things worse for him, let's do it.
I mean, if anything, it's going to make things worse for me, for us.
Thurston, do not
You
be
know,
shy
it-
like this. I'll offer my arm to Evelyn again. It's quite easy, see? Perhaps you can take turns. Sometimes you hold his arm, sometimes he holds your arm. Whatever you're comfortable with. But if someone approaches either one of you with a cross, make sure to give them a little tug. Get them away from that.
Oh, you mean this cross? And I pull it out and hold it next to Thurston?
Shiver, would I know how how True Faith works? Not like fully how it works, but understand the basics of it.
Your sire would have warned you that it exists.
Okay. You know what? When he holds it up to me, I go, no, don't touch me with it. I'm so scared. Yeah, it'll be fine. We're all right.
I'm
You want to hold it?
so very confused. All right, that has been enough as an interruption. Then let's continue, and be careful.
As you turn around and walk away, I mock the ever living shit out of you. I'm just like,
And I imagine that Evelyn has true like proper posture and is walking like a very dignified woman. And while you're sitting there mocking him, I'm kind of trying to mimic the way she's walking.
To Coterie, head to the underground station in Notting Hill, and once more purchase, or otherwise use their vampiric powers to trick the ticket machine into allowing them to pass. The giant hulking metal of iron and steel arrives at the platform, and they each board. Is there anything you wish to discuss on your journey, or would you like to appear straight at Tower Bridge construction?
yes, there is something. I'm going to conspire with Thirst. So here's what we
I
do.
keep sniffing my little sachet.
So here's what we do. Next time somebody runs up like that, I'll bust out and be like, "Does it work?" And I'll hold it up. Step behind me.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of smart.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Don't scream like a girl. We'll be fine.
I don't think I can.
Good.
I want to hear Thurston scream.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't. Have you heard my screams in
His
Phasmophobia?
scream is probably just.
Ah!
Sounds like the music I listen to. You know, those bands where they get a load of sticks, just throw them on the ground and say, "That's our name."
There's the name.
So we're going to
Mhm.
drag Thurston behind a carriage so we can hear him be like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah."
And then dubstep was invented.
I should turn this into a necklace. Like,
Shiv,
Yes.
if it's like they sing, if it's like the people that you listen to, would you call it synth metal?
Symph-
That sounds like a genre. Don't tell me that doesn't sound like a genre.
The Coterie arrive near the construction of Tower Bridge. You can see the two hulking towers slowly being made, with various boats tied at the construction site. The bridge is still under construction, with various unfamiliar mechanical tools and machinery left unattended. Pieces of stone and construction materials are stacked up neatly in a few places, and an ad hoc ladder has been placed resting against a piece of road that is creeping out of the embankment to allow people to reach the base and see the foundation of one of the towers.
Well, from what I understand, the detective even pointed you out, Thurston, as someone he's surprised has not been approached to join this group. Perhaps we use that as a sort of bait then, if that is something you're comfortable with. We see who's running this operation, what they want, and see if we can figure out if they did what I think they did to our friend down the river.
I mean, yeah, I could probably make a pretty convincing attempt.
Perfect. Okay, so we will also be concerned for well-being, of course, and see if we can't all go along. But worst case scenario, we might have you be our bait. So it seems you have ways to quietly slip away if it gets bad. And if it does get too bad, just yell out as loud as you can, and we will come running to help.
wait, what are we doing?
I'm joining a cult.
Help.
Why was
Okay, Thurston, we'll be close behind. See if you can't find anyone of interest.
All right. And I guess I take I kind of do that thing where I keep reading the pamphlet, and looking around at my surroundings to try and make sure I'm in the right place.
Where are you precisely?
I don't know. Where does it say the pamphlet says to be?
At the Tower Bridge construction site. What I'm asking is, are you up on the actual main
right.
construction site? Are you on the embankment to the side, looking at it side on? Or other?
I'm gonna say at the embankment, looking at it from the side.
Okay.
Shiver, is there somewhere I can go to get out of sight from everybody else?
Is there what you can do to what everybody
Is
else?
there, is there anywhere I can go to get out of sight from everybody else?
Yes. There is
Can I
a
do
ladder that leads straight down.
Okay, I go down there. I cast Unseen Passage and climb back up.
Unseen passage rouse check, or is that free? Do a rouse check for me,
a
please.
rouse.
Wonderful.
And then I go find Thurston.
Okay.
And now I will be passage.
You said that it says to be at the construction site, right?
No, it says that you can find it at the construction site.
Oh.
I tap Thurston on the shoulder. Hey,
I jump. What?
hey, don't be quiet.
What?
I'm sneaking around.
Okay. You
are
could
we
have
looking at?
warned me. I honestly don't know. There's got to be like maybe a secret entrance or anything. Do I see? It's nighttime, so nobody should be working here. Do I see anybody in the construction area?
Nope.
Okay. Is there I mean, you're invisible, apparently.
I am.
Is there? Have you seen any way in?
No.
Screw it. I'm gonna
There's a
go.
ladder I went down.
Where does it go?
I don't know. I just went down to go invisible and came back up. You want to go?
Sure.
Cool. Cool. Follow me. And I take off.
Can I look around and see if I see a ladder? Because I clearly can't follow him.
Yeah, that's free. You will see the ladder. And
Okay.
Evelyn,
assume
does
he's
it look
gone
like
down.
he is hearing voices as well? He's having a conversation. I'm not sure if he's been approached or what's happening. Perhaps we
Alright.
sent the wrong bait.
That was fun while it lasted. All right.
I'm afraid our where is our Malkavian friend?
I
believe he
wait
might
at the ladder for you, by the way.
have inflicted the Nosferatu.
I just assumed he went down the
I-
ladder, so as soon as I get to the ladder, I go down it.
Yeah, as you start walking down, you hear me be like, be careful.
Jesus.
you head down the ladder, and you find a very small, dry area. Just enough so that you can see the base of the construction work. As you reach the bottom of the ladder, your undead senses begin to feel active. Could you cast Sense the Unseen for me, please?
I
Oh,
don't
he's
have
gonna
that power.
see me. Nice. You don't?
No, I don't have that power.
Do you not?
No,
It's
remember,
Ferratu.
Did you change your character sheet since I last looked at it?
I mean, I did tell you I had to redo my disciplines since Thurston.
You human garbage.
Undead garbage.
You can't see me.
Do wits and awareness for me, please.
Okay. What's funny is the power that I don't mind.
Let's not do that thing where you go a whole
Jesus
game
Christ,
using the
Thurston.
power that you should have and never get it. You should get some.
Yeah. No,
This is
I would have it if it weren't for the fact that I can't. Kind
Are
of.
you sticking with the roll?
I haven't re-rolled all game. I'll re-roll the 2 zeros. Re-roll 2. Did it? It didn't do anything.
What are you doing?
There you go.
There it goes.
That's fine.
Took a long.
Thurston looks around the area and finds a solid iron door that shows various watermarks on it that seem to show when the river rises in the day, it is completely hidden by the river flowing past it. The door seems to have no obvious way of opening it.
I go over to the... What?
I said, what do you see?
There's a door over there.
Where?
I walk over to the door, and seeing that there's no way of properly opening it from the outside, I knock.
Which hand are you knocking
While
with?
all this is going on, I lead Aldrich over, so I'm looking down the hall.
What did you ask me, sir?
Which hand are you knocking on the door with?
Oh God.
I don't like this. Which hand was I handed the whatchamacallit?
Cross.
Crucifix.
Pick a hand.
Are you
Right
knocking on the
hand.
door with the hand with the ring on it?
Oh.
Don't matter. Roll a
Sure.
dice. Oh,
Yeah, it's a better way of doing it. But
The door opens and you feel an almost magnetic attraction to the door each time the hand with the ring upon it goes near to the door. It magically opens slightly for you, allowing you entry if you so wish.
I motion to empty air to follow me as I open the door and go in.
I got you. I'm right behind you.
What are Aldrich and
Seeing
Evelyn
him
doing?
do that, seeing him do that, I would assume that he means us.
Wait.
The wave seen round the coterie.
So I ask Aldrich to help me go down the ladder.
But of course. And help her down. Her first, since I'm not Thurston and I don't want to be under her skirts. Although Thurston's down there, so maybe it should.
No, Thurston is the kind of person where he's like, he's very respectful, but you can tell he's staring.
Thurston, as you stare
Respectfully.
up at Evelyn,
Yeah.
you notice under her skirt that her bloomers
Oh, I
expose
wasn't
her
looking at that.
ankles most provocatively.
Frenzy.
Willpower roll. No, I'm kidding.
Blush of life again? No.
There you go. I give you a reroll.
Yeah, we'll make our way down.
I wouldn't have seen them up there, so I would have just gone in with Alistair.
The door swings on its hinges loudly, revealing to the coven of monsters a long, thin, crafted-out tunnel with small flame torches every few meters to guide the way down into the hidden haven. Water drips from the ceiling into the many puddles that flood the tunnel. The group wade their way through the damp, dimly lit tunnel, heading in the only direction they can. Is there anything you wish to discuss?
Probably
as they-
not.
As soon as they
Unless he
walk
says
up,
something.
yeah. As soon as they walk up, I go up to Evelyn. Hi. Guess I have the same reaction when random people come into my head too. It's me.
Wait. Wrong time period. Where the dickens are you?
I'm right here.
I don't see you.
Ah, quit looking around. Follow me. I'll walk towards the door where Thurston.
We get to the bottom of this with these two. I think we're in for quite the promotion. Let's continue.
Once we figure this out, yeah, it'll be great.
I figured that it was just me and Alistair left to go get them, so I'm just confidently walking through here, expecting that it's both
Thinking
me
he's right
and
behind you.
Alistair. Yeah, I think he's right behind
Awesome.
me. Yep.
As the Coterie proceed further into the tunnel, they reach an open area, and hear an unnatural bubbling, as a blob of bloody flesh splats down in front of them.
Good timing.
Hey, shit, I was close.
And fizzles as it slowly forms into a terrifying gestalt of people, rats and stray dogs. One of its many heads looks hungrily at the Coterie and roars. A portcullis drops from the passageway they just walked through, trapping them in the makeshift arena with the monstrous mound of flesh and bone.
There are two Thurstons?
Did you say that in character, or?
This thing makes Thurston look positively gorgeous.
It's not that hard to do.
What in the love of our holy lord is that?
You hear Alistair go, holy crap! And then all of a sudden he's no longer invisible. I forgot I could do that with that power. Scream and just not be invisible anymore. Fantastic.
I assume since I was in front, I'm closest to this thing. How big of an area behind me is there?
Probably about 3 or 4 foot.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I was gonna soaring leap backwards, but that's useless.
I mean, soaring leap, you're going to whack your head on the ceiling.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You're
Well, I
kind
was
of
Seems
gonna-
like
I was
Thurston's first move would be.
Yeah. I don't want any part of this whack. Yeah, I just want to get away from. I have my sword, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you made me buy it last time, so I wasn't sure. I pull the sword out, but I get back. I don't fully run towards it and attack. And
Okay. So Thurston is backing off, temporarily using his trousers as a latrine. Got it. Next.
yep. It's a good thing I wore the red pants today.
So you said this was... Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go.
I'm just going to try to figure out what the fuck this thing is. Is it a blob? Is it a blob? Is it like a? Is it a humanoid or is it a?
It started off as a blob
of
of flesh and bone that slowly fizzled and bubbled, forming itself into a gestalt entity made of various people, dogs, and rats.
Do the thing.
And which one of you is going to be Kurt Russell?
I mean, I'll do it first. I'll be like, oh my god, you look like everything I've ever imagined. Let's be friends, and I'll cast Dementation.
That is an automatic fail.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if you
that means
try.
I can't. That means
That's
I
why I
can't
was
do the
asking
thing
what
I
it
was
was.
gonna do. I was gonna
mean-
try and talk to one of the rats.
I can't. I mean, if I tell you what it is, that would be meta information.
No, it's fine. I know it's not human now.
It
Way to find
looks
out.
it
Yeah.
looks hungry and angry, but it's not advancing or anything, right?
I'm just saying, you
Well-
don't know invulnerability to fire until you hit it with fire.
These are your reactions rolls to what the fuck this
We don't know
just
what it's
thing
doing
is.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll glance over for a second at Eveline, and she seemed like she's stepping forward to do anything.
No.
Just nod, and I'll look towards Thurston. And mon ami, you have a sword. Use it on that creature immediately.
I mean, I usually use it for more defensive
Oh, I
purposes.
wasn't asking. I'm using mesmerize.
Nice.
Show me mesmerize, because I think that's a contest roll, isn't it? When it's on another kindred.
It is. So I don't have the stuff filled out where it's gonna show you the whole thing, but
That's fine. I bought
it is
something
my
just for these
manipulation
moments.
dominate.
We'll get there before next game, Shiver.
Yeah. It's my manipulation and dominate versus his intelligent resolve.
I'm gonna say I'll find it for you real quick.
Oh boy.
If that's what
Oh,
Bully
no, it
says it
doesn't
is,
say.
you better believe that that is what it fucking is.
Sometimes.
Thurston's intelligence and resolve ain't too high.
Good, good.
Close.
Aldrich stares into Thurston's excusive eyes, willing the vitae into his voice, empowering it with undead power, compelling Thurston to draw his sword, and against his will of survival, go forth and attack this monstrous blob.
I go to argue with you, and then I just stop and go, yeah, whatever you say, boss, and I swing my sword at it.
Okay. Strength melee. And this creature is going to try and attempt to hit you back with its weird, clawy, bony hands.
Oh God.
Yay. So Thurston's dead.
Well,
The point of one shots, right? Yeah.
Thurston
Session
is
zero.
dead, isn't he?
Yeah, session zeros, you die.
You take 6 superficial damage.
Oh, superficial?
Yes.
I'm in torpor.
Was that before or after being halved?
Doesn't get halved.
I had 3 health left.
The
so
large
6
creature
superficial takes it out.
swings its bony, monstrous arm that is made of different other arms down upon Thurston, making contact directly with his fucked up face and somehow making him look even more handsome as it wipes a huge tearing gash across his cheek, spilling blood upon the floor. He loses what would normally be consciousness, falls down to the ground, and stops breathing entirely. Bless you. Unfortunately, Eveline is allergic to the witness of a vampire in torpor and sneezes.
So I just want to imagine this rant. Yeah, you're gonna hit that thing. Yeah, whatever you say, boss. Ah! And now I'm dead.
Aldrich feels a little bad. It's just there's some backing up, and he's like, "What are you doing? Get in there." Okay, splat. Now I know why he was backing up.
I say to Aldrich, "Are you no man? Get in there and defend him."
Yeah, what she said, and I back away.
And that's how the First World War was started.
No, that's how Prohibition started. It was started by women. I feel that it.
Aldrich nods and is scanning the room for. There's no escape route. It's this thing or the way we came.
Yeah.
We may need to work together and overwhelm this thing with force. And he's going to roll up his sleeve and begin approaching.
As Aldrich approaches, because I don't feel like killing all of you at the moment, you notice a new figure in the shadows standing behind this monstrous creature. You see it raise its right hand and the Gestalt entity freezes in its tracks. It stops, it turns back into a blobby, fleshy mess, and drains itself down a nearby passageway.
It drains. I thought you were about to say thirsty, and I was like, oh no.
I was tempted.
Are we still in combat?
Nope. The
I
figure.
shriek and run over to Thurston.
Okay.
You can go with your
Cool.
narrative. That's fine.
Watch. Make sure this thing's gone before doing anything else, staying on his toes. I'm looking over at the figure.
But you
Hey.
do still have that bottle of disgusting blood.
Ooh, give me that. That'll work. He won't care. He's ugly anyways.
Let's see what our friend has to say first, unless you have any problems with us helping
I look for a rat.
the unfortunate little one here, I'll say towards this figure.
I don't even think you need to roll for the rat. You will find a rat. No problem.
I find a rat, slice it open, and drain the blood into his mouth.
That will be enough to bring the Thurston back with 1 superficial health.
Yay!
Also, you shouldn't have slipped into torpor just from superficial. You should also take aggravated, don't forget.
He had 2 aggravated already.
Yeah, I had 2 aggravated already, so I had 3 health. So 6 superficial took me down to 0.
Yeah, you hit him with the crucifix, remember?
What a shame.
Well, it's not a first game for Nitro unless he goes into torpor.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
The figure, you aren't sure what to call it other than that, seems to be some kind of a man standing there in the shadows. Its large head is shaped like something you've only heard about from tales, as a hand fan from the Orient. The outer edge of its frilled skin is decorated with metal rings all along it. The figure silently beckons you to follow it, and it slowly steps backwards into a side chamber as the portcullis opens before it.
Back at the others, see that Thurston is conscious now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll reach out a
I
hand
had
to
his
help
head
him
in
up.
my arms.
You fought bravely. It was quite a foe.
Yeah, you know, the whole sword thing was kind of just, it was something you learned growing up, and it's more ornamental and, you know, ceremonial than anything. I just
And now we know.
I just keep,
I
yeah.
know for next
Mhm.
time, should there be one.
Yeah.
Let's follow our host here. I have a feeling it's in our best interest. Or
I
I have a feeling we don't have much of a choice as well.
I whisper to Thurston, you shouldn't listen to what he says to do. It's bad.
You know, it was really weird. I didn't want to, and then all of a sudden I wanted to.
I don't remember that. I remember you specifically. You hesitated for a second, and then I encouraged you, and then you went into battle.
You don't remember talking to him?
I just said I encouraged him, and he went into battle of his own volition.
Yeah, you know, it was just really motivating. And at the time, I was like, no, I don't want to fight this thing. But then he encouraged me, and I was like, yeah, I want to fight this thing.
Despite that, you did. Now, let's go.
The smell of blood and flesh thrills your nostrils and pangs in your stomach as you enter into some kind of twisted surgery or workshop room. Blood smears the walls as you look around and find stretchers using human skin instead of canvas to support bodies of adults laid out upon them. Their chest cavities are open and ribcage exposed. Of the 3 corpses present, 2 seem to have had their innards removed, and the final one seems to have pieces hanging out of the huge gaping wound. The figure stands there, his arms outstretched, and I apologize for this accent. Welcome, child of Cain. You have come seeking change, and here it is, you will find it.
This is downright disgusting. She's got her handkerchief front of her mouth.
Are all of the skin beds occupied?
Yes.
What a sentence.
Yeah, right.
So meet, see how I missed you.
Dad, what is that?
Like I
I'm-
said, shivering is to meet.
You did not see blood on walls. Dad, what's that?
I would probably Thurston just kind of goes and kind of sits up against one of the skin beds, just leans against it because he is not looking good.
I'm very intrigued. I go up and start looking. I'll say looking through the open bodies, but not really. Really won't be touching.
Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it.
Lick it.
I have no reason to. I'm not the doctor.
So what sort of change do you bring about here? To not quite get your name, I am Eldrick.
I am Sergei.
Eldrick Beverell.
Sergei. Just Sergei. I bring change of the body, the mind, and of the soul. Of which are you interested?
I look
Let's
at
talk
Thurston.
about
Say
the
body.
soul for a moment. How is it you change the soul?
The soul is transmogrified by the change to someone's body or their mind. It is invigorating to see.
And you have already helped others with a change similar like this around the city?
Many mortals, I'm so sorry about this fucking accent, many mortals have come to my lair seeking change. Each one
Take
has
offense
left.
that you're doing a poor European accent. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so am I, and I'm fucking
You should hear
European.
his French. It's great. I thought your French is
Your French is
good.
good.
You're doing good, Shiver.
I'm genuinely complimenting you.
Even he's happy.
I apologize. Go on.
I have changed many mortal souls in my time here. Unfortunately, my time here has been sadly limited. I was left here by my friends.
But of course, who would this friend be? Perhaps you have a name?
My friends have a collective name. We refer to ourselves as the Sword of Cain.
Is that how you cut all these people up? Was with that sword?
No, that is something intrinsically different to my kind, child. A sword is
Remember-
like...
Boring.
Yeah, Alistair, you remember the whole thing I was just saying where it's like, you know, more of a symbol and ceremonial thing? It's kind of the same deal.
A
Oh.
sword for this purpose is like bringing
Oh, no.
a battleship to do a destroyer's work.
Oh.
I know they had battleships, not sure about destroyers, but we'll pretend.
So you mean it's just a fake symbol you worship, kind of like this, and I'll throw the cross at him.
There is nothing fake about the Sword of Cain. And these trinkets you bring me, I have no interest in them.
I don't
The
either.
body
I
is
took it
far
earlier.
more malleable.
These changes, is this a standing offer? Do we have to decide now, or perhaps we can meet you again at this location and discuss our options? This is something I think I would be interested in. But we
Standing
need to
offer,
discuss first.
sitting offer. Maybe you need an extra leg. Maybe you want no legs. Don't say it, Nitro.
Wasn't even thinking it.
I offer my services to any and all, although I have very limited experience practicing my art upon fellow children of Cain.
Incredibly vulgar.
Perhaps you would like me to cut out the tongue on that one and craft it into something more pleasing.
No, that's okay
People
because
do no such thing.
she makes him do things that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'd prefer you not hurt her. Either, that'd be nice.
But pain is such exquisite experience, no?
I could argue against that at the moment.
Yeah,
That. Go ahead.
I thank you for your offer, and I think it is something we will all have to take under consideration. But for the time being, we must take our leave, if that is okay. Unless
Of
there's something
course.
anyone else needed to do here. I think we've found what we came here for.
Did we?
We were looking for what was causing this change. Seems we have found it.
It's
And
true.
tell me, before you leave, that daughter of Cain, what is her name?
We all look at her.
Yeah.
Why should I tell you?
You have entered into another kindred's domain. It is good manners to introduce yourself, no?
Reluctantly,
Holding
she
his-
says.
Oh,
My name is Eveline. Normally, she would offer her hand, but she does not.
Eveline. That is a name I will remember for a very, very long time.
kind of pushing one of the flesh flaps on my face back into place. I walk over to Sergey and I go, "Oh yes, my deepest apologies. How rude of me." And I do the bow and I place a hand out so that Sergey can drape their hand on mine. I go, "Thurston."
Your skin. I have not experienced much with your kind, but I would dearly love the chance to perform my craft upon you. Would you be willing?
Well, this and the skin flap just falls back out of place. This is because of your pet out there. It hits pretty hard, and
Would you
I wasn't prepared for it.
would you care to join my pet?
No, I think I'm good. I just don't want to get hit by it again.
Very well. Perhaps next time.
Sure.
Consider
I-
my
I-
offer. It will always be open.
I probably if this makes any difference, the hand I would have offered out probably is the one with the ring on it. Okay.
I remember crafting that ring. You notice the exquisite workmanship. The eye still blinks. Contained within, you would never believe, are in fact two mortals, joined through unholy matrimony for all time. One of my finest pieces of work.
You know, that is actually profoundly beautiful. I quite enjoy this ring. Thank you.
Wear it and you will never be alone, child of Cain.
That's good to know.
Well, now that you have come into my haven, disturbed my work, do you merely wish to leave?
I
Yes.
believe so.
Very
If
well.
it would not offend you.
No. The daughter of Cain has already done such work, and it will be remembered for all time. But you may leave unharmed.
It was a pleasure. Politely curtsies before leaving.
And for my own curiosity, what is it? I cannot say I'm familiar with your clan.
You are unfamiliar with the Zamitsi?
I believe you're the first I've met. Yes,
Perhaps
I like.
your sire has kept many other things from you about our kind.
Yeah, perhaps. My sire did not do the best job of teaching me what is what, but I am learning quickly.
If you
Thank you.
ever
It was an
wish to
honor.
learn more, you know where I am. Perhaps you would like a new eye for yourself.
What would something within your power to do?
Very easily. Perhaps it is something you might be interested yourself.
I am interested in a great many things, of course. Perhaps.
Allow
What
me.
do you ask for in exchange?
I asked for nothing in exchange. You will find that the sword of Cain do not lie like the ivory tower do to theirs. Let me impart a gift to you. He turns around, reaches his spindly, bony hand out, and grabs a thick book. You can easily and instantly tell the book is bound in human flesh, with pages made of human skin, written in blood. When the time is right, child, you will be able to read from this book and learn a great many things. But it will only work for those who are of the right kind.
Sure, the clan of kings participates in such work, but I graciously accept your gift.
I am sure the clan of kings have no limitations.
Well, hold it, try that. It's disgusting, but it's also quite interesting, so I'll try not to take too much offense to touching this skin-bound tome. Tuck it under an
Something I
arm
can
and just
relate to.
bow.
Please, step in the shadow of Cain and always honor his word.
But of Garth. And I'll start making my way out.
Everyone heading back the way you came?
Very slowly.
Is there anything you wish to discuss on your probably awkward journey back?
Is this a new scene?
Yes?
Hint, hint.
Oh,
Hint
okay.
third
I thought you. Yeah, no, I was gonna do that as soon as you said new scene, but I thought you wanted to do something first. May I heal, Chief?
Of course, do a rouse check for me, please.
Don't you have all aggravated?
No, I have one superficial I can heal.
Heal one superficial.
Because the The rat brought me up to 1 superficial.
I will go to Evelyn. Evelyn?
Evelyn.
You know, I could have made him forget your name.
Didn't you?
Because he probably would have killed us if I failed. Sorry. I turn and walk back to Thurston.
I mean, once we report what we've seen, I don't think it will be a problem. I believe the tower will take care of this. They wanted to know what was behind these terrible events, and I believe we have discovered what is behind it. So we point to the problem, we get our reward, and the Camarilla take care of this fiend. Yes?
I
Are
mean,
we sure this is what did that, though?
oh yeah, oh, that's true.
Him about the soul. His answers seem to correlate with the victims being drained of blood, body, mind, soul. It all seems quite connected. And even if not, I think they would be very interested to know that this creature is operating in their city. But
Should've-
perhaps it is in all of our best interest to not divulge the fact that we were given a gift. We don't want to be tied in with that creature. We will say we discovered it. We negotiated our way out of the trouble, telling it what it wanted to hear. And now we sick the Camarilla on him.
Are you really going to get a new eye before he dies?
What?
What?
You know, I'm kind of interested in knowing if he could have maybe fixed me. I mean, I doubt it. The whole Nosferatu thing seems pretty messed up. Like, I don't.
I mean, look
Did
how
you-
he
It was
chose
tempting.
to present himself if he had the power to do otherwise.
Yeah, I do want to look better, but I don't think my definition and their definition of better is the same.
I very much agree with you.
Plus, I don't know if I would have survived him doing anything to me anyway. He says,
Perhaps
well,
there are
fixing
answers
a
in the
face
book.
flap.
I can study it, and I will let you know if I find something that maybe can help you.
Maybe.
Is there anything else we need to take care of before reporting back? There are other suspects if you want to be completely thorough, but either way, I think they might be interested in this.
I mean, we could always be like, here's this thing. And they'll either be like, yeah, you're done. Or, hey, thanks. But did you find that other thing? And we'll be like, well, we thought this was important. We're going to go look now.
Makes perfect sense to me, yes.
That's proper.
I spin. Also, you shouldn't tell strangers your name.
It was in good manners.
Sure, but now you're on somebody's list. Even if he dies tomorrow, it's still a whole night to tell everybody else.
It would have been improper for me to not tell my name.
Tell him another name. He didn't know your name. Like
Late now.
Yevelin.
Would have been clever. But hopefully he will be dealt with, and it hopefully will not matter in the end.
Right, except for the fact that he could tell everybody else before he dies. Sure.
Everyone else, he
Didn't
could tell that.
sound like
that
he had.
There's a pile of rat dog people. But yes, you can tell that. That would be most concerning. But
Okay.
let's turn in this information. See what they have to say from there. Yes?
The Coterie exit the tunnel.
Actually, we can tell. Before we get back to Elysium, I'd want to pull Alistair aside, though.
Okie dokie. Out on the streets of the snow-covered Victorian London, the Coterie begin to head back to the underground. Aldrich hangs back with Alistair as the rest of the Coterie carry on their journey.
What?
What are you doing?
I know how this works. I can do it too. You won't trick me into doing things.
No, I'm not going to give you any commands. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page here. I understand you probably are not a... You don't seem too concerned with the hierarchy or etiquette or any of that of the Camarilla. Is this a fair assumption?
What are you talking about?
We work for the Camarilla. We want to improve the Camarilla, but sometimes it's best to keep a few things close to the vest, yes?
Sure. Is this about Thurston breaking the window?
No, it's more about our interaction with that creature. I would like to keep what I have secret, if that is okay with you.
Don't worry, I won't tell anybody except the voices in my head.
So that is a thing?
Is what I think.
The voices in your head?
You don't have them?
No, I do not. Okay, we're on the same page. That is good. But just to be safe, the whole thing with the book never happened.
Can I see the page in the book?
Can you see the book?
Well, you said we were on the same page. I thought maybe you found a page in the book that was important.
Ah, I see. This is your communication style. Yes. Very entertaining. Onward.
Okay.
When you guys come back to the group, Thurston's just sitting there, poking a hole in his face that was created by the creature, and he just goes, "Oh, that's neat. I can feel one of my teeth."
Evil makes a point not to take his arm.
To take Aldrich's arm?
Yeah, no, not to take Thurston's arm.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there, like, looking off into the distance, like, messing with the wounds on my face, but I have, like, an arm out, not paying attention that she's not taking my arm.
When we come back,
I'll walk up and take your arm.
Aldrich, stop. Not Aldrich, that's me. Thurston, stop playing with that.
I mean,
Thurston, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
It'll leave a scar.
I mean, to be completely honest, at this point, that'd be an improvement.
No, it's okay. We know somebody that can fix the scars.
We do.
I'm going to tattle.
I'm gonna keep Aldrich just like, is he gonna tell or no?
The Coterie head back into the underground, watching as Thurston pokes various fingers through completely newly made orifices that he never knew he had before, feeling the inside of his own body and marveling at the human engineering that is his body. Eventually, they make their way
I am a specimen.
to the main Elysium of West End. They travel up the pristine, clear, white marble stone staircases, Thurston leaving a bit of a trail of blood behind him as he enters. They enter onto the landing, and the double doors open for them. Inside, there are still Kindred, enjoying revelries like never before. At the table they were previously sat, where they first met each other, is the same kindred female contact, nursing a drink and awaiting their return.
Would on the way, if possible, we were in. Did we go through East End at all?
You were in the East End, and you're now back at the West End.
Okay. Before heading back, can I say I dropped my book off with a contact? I don't want to bring it into Elysium.
Absolutely fine.
Okay.
Acting like everything is perfectly normal, Thurston goes up and goes, Pandora, we're back. And I bow and extend a hand. Is it Pandora that we went to?
I mean, it's up to you if you want to go to Pandora or if you want to go to her sire. Her sire was the one that introduced you to everyone.
That's true. You're right. Sorry, I thought we were going back to Pandora. No,
It's
I do
force of
this
habit,
to.
isn't it?
It is. I go back to the other woman then, not Pandora.
She
I
stands.
go pull a chair
Wait.
out for somebody, but just stand behind it and don't sit.
She stands as you approach. She nods her head diligently, looks at Thurston up and down, and shakes her head.
Been a rough night.
I'm not sure if your looks have been improved or worsened.
That's what I've been asking. Is there a mirror in here I can look at?
Thankfully, no. The Lasombra don't like them.
That's fair.
Aldrich, you seem to be my
Oui.
beacon of hope in this coterie of disaster.
Oh, you're too kind. An update I'm sure you're interested in. The Coterie, despite their unique methods, came together and were quite successful. All of them played an important part in our endeavor. That endeavor leading us to an individual calls himself Sergei. He is a Zemitzi, I believe was the name. He sees himself as an agent of change in the city. The change involving mind, body, and soul. He seemed to specifically inquired about how do you improve, change one's soul, and his methods seem to perhaps fit the methods that have been befalling Kindred in London.
Interesting.
It was disgusting.
The Zemitzi are
Was
not
unpleasant.
for the faint of heart. I'm sorry that a lady such as yourself had to endure it, Eveline.
Finally, someone who understands.
However,
He spoke of his friends, the Sword of Cain. I believe they may have a grudge against our dear lady now, for she did not show them respect, but they were not deserving of it either.
a typical Zemitzi, they like to hold grudges, particularly those of the Camarilla. And tell me, children, have you ever heard Childer? Have you ever heard of the Sabbat?
No.
I
would-
don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Where the Camarilla brings organization to chaos, the Sabbat are
Thank you.
antithesis to that.
Love
They see themselves as the living embodiment and will of the mythical figure Cain. For some time now, they have attempted to usurp control of London from Mithras. Sometimes they have been more successful than others. Their most recent attempt was somewhat successful, thanks to the bumbling machinations of Valerius, who introduced the Tremere to this city, something Mithras himself punished him greatly for. Since that time, however, the Sabbat have been remnants left over. It seems you found a pocket of this remnant. Where exactly he is?
I'll describe the location at the two, what was it? Tower bridge construction. And the ladder and how to get there. And warn her of the creature we ran into that did, pointing to Thurston's face, that.
Ah, they do enjoy their little toys. It seems we shall have to clear this out. This is something not of your abilities, but easily of ourselves or Mithras, if we inform him. However, Azamitsi would not commit diablerie. Not so readily, and certainly not on those younger than themselves. The Amaranth is a dangerous act. They wouldn't risk doing such petty things without being secure in the knowledge they would gain something.
So he's taking souls from humans?
Well,
Sorry.
what better source of souls would there be? Some view kindred souls as corrupt, others as pure. It really depends on interpretation. Zamitsi aren't known for spiritual interpretation.
Well, perhaps he is not the culprit then. We may be involved, or maybe the culprit is one of these individuals seeking change. But
Amaranth,
we thought it best to make you aware of this problem one way or another.
it is greatly appreciated. We shall investigate and attempt to clear it out, although I fear he may have already made safe haven elsewhere. But we may strike lucky. Unfortunately, this does not bring closure to the ongoing cases of Amaranth being performed around the city. I fear at this point it is too late at night for you to make any progress. But your night was not fruitless, and your efforts greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and I honestly could use a night or two.
Yes. Is that meant to be flapping in the wind like that?
You don't know, but I honestly kind of enjoy it.
I realize I didn't sit in the chair, and I go to sit in the chair and scoot up.
Ah, the child of the moon. How good of you to join us finally.
Thanks, what did I miss?
Everything and nothing.
Did you see Thurston got hit?
No, I hadn't noticed.
It's a shame.
Shoved the flat back into place.
For now,
Playing with it.
Not playing with it. It's my
for now, you may go about your business as normal. And she gives Thurston a particularly disdainful look.
Look,
I suggest rest.
I don't normally like presenting myself. I mean, this. It's disgustingly isn't the correct word. Because Nosferatu.
Repulsive? Sickening?
Yeah, that would be the word. Yeah. You know, even for a Nosferatu, I find myself to try and be somewhat presentable. It's just that they did not give me a chance with that giant blob monster. And by they, I mean the Zamixi. Because that thing hit really hard, and I just was not prepared for it.
It's a shame the
I'm
Zamiti
sure-
wasn't able to. I'm sorry, Aldrich. Please carry on.
Oh no, go right ahead. How rude of me.
No, I insist. A gentleman has a right to voice his opinion.
I just wanted to make Thurston feel at ease and letting him know that I'm sure the rest of our endeavors there will be no such dangers that we will face. It should be a walk in the park from here.
I hope so. Although I
Oh.
heard some parks are dangerous.
After all, the worst that could happen is your very soul is consumed and you no longer exist. I'm sure it will
Ooh.
be safe.
Yeah, I'd prefer that not to happen.
Talk to other people.
For now, you may take your leave. You have done well this night, and most of you seem to have survived. If you find Jacob on your travels, please inform him. He is still very much invited.
Saw a
Let
rat,
us
got
hope.
a real bad coffee, ran away. Sorry.
Let us hope he makes his return before too long.
Of course.
Now please remove yourselves from my table and take that with you. She points at Thurston.
I get up and I do a nice little bow. And I turn around and leave. Trying to look distinguished, but also looking quite offended.
Where he goes, Aldrich will try to catch him. Everyone really. So we will continue our work tomorrow evening. Is there a place that works best for us all to meet to start this investigation? Well, is
Here.
Elysium ongoing? Will this be happening tomorrow as well? Okay.
This will be
Yeah, that works.
This is the permanent Elysium in West End.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that's simple enough then. Okay. It was a pleasure to work with each of you, and I hope to continue to much success. Adieu.
Before leaving, I curtsy to her deeply and join the rest of the coterie.
Anyone wish to say some final farewells in character? Very well.
Is there time to feed? That'd be the last thing he would try to do on.
Oh, absolutely.
We are in Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Elysium for a while, and Elysium's making him a bit nervous. I think he'd actually try to feed in his normal stomping grounds.
There's a bug on me! There's a bug, Dad!
Apparently, there's a bug.
These screaming ghosts and insects and
What's
No,
your
I
predator
imagine
type?
that that's just.
Aldrich, what's your predator type?
extortionist. One of the new ones.
Okay.
Which he'll be heading to an opium den, taking off his wig and silly Frenchman costume, being a little bit more of himself, dealing with the rest of his fellow East Enders, finding a drug den, finding someone who probably shouldn't be there, someone with a family, someone with little something to lose should they be caught participating, and make sure to let him know, not so subtly, what could happen if the wrong people were to find out they were there, and then use that leverage to feed from that individual on his drug of choice.
Are we all still together?
Aldrich's off hunting.
Aldrich is not.
I said Aldrich would have left. He's hunting.
Before Aldrich leaves, I give him a single white rose.
Did you
Gladly
get one?
take it respectfully.
Do we got to go home now?
I know you were saying that to me, but I feel like I keep wanting to say Amon. I need to get out of this headspace. Thurston probably would have been walking out, but I was about to say Thurston on his way out turned around and winks at Alistair and then leaves.
Before he leaves, I also give Thurston a white rose.
Ah,
And also
You're-
Alistair.
you're so kind.
What does it mean? Sorry,
I'm
it's not
worthy of you.
normal. Oh, thank you. It's not normal for a woman to give him a rose.
I think it's
Sure,
kind of nice and should
kind
happen
of.
more
It means
often.
something anytime.
Do we kiss now?
No.
Good. You walk away.
Aldrich, we'll make it nice and simple. Do your predator roll for me, please.
Did put in here, which is
Oh my god,
I got to stop letting kids in these opium dens.
This is what it sounds like in my head.
Yeah,
Working.
but Shiv, who is going to be making the opium?
Well, actually, the opium's made in the east, and
where
then
is my predator roll?
Who's going to be distributing it?
Okay, I'll just
Which
make the actual roll then.
And by distributing, I mean like putting in baggies or whatever it comes in. I don't do drugs.
You don't know.
Intimidation, manipulation.
cellophane
I
bags.
get one for coercion. There she is.
Oh, that's wonderful. You may slake 2 hunger from a particularly imbibed individual who merely lays there in a half-dreaming, half-awake state and barely even notices as you sink your fangs into his flesh and feast upon his vitae, licking the wound after and sealing it.
Excellent.
So that brings us to the end of our first Victorian game. I hope you all enjoyed it. First of all, thank you to Bully for joining us from TableGoth.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
You're always welcome, and please tell us about you. Where can we find you?
Don't. If you want to find me, I've of TableGoth, as I said, a channel that I run where we also play a little bit of Vampire. Most of our stuff's on YouTube. If you want to find us, youtube.com/TableGoth is where you'll find most of our endeavors. Do that. We do tutorials on how to play the game. If you want to know the rules, because the book is laid out so nicely and simply, we do some of the digging for you. Yeah, and that's about it for us. For watching this, we'll be doing a Call of Cthulhu Y2K New Year's Eve thing, which should be interesting as well.
TableGoth, you are prolific. You make so many games so often, and they're of such high quality. I'm in awe of it. It is absolutely amazing what you guys do.
We play a lot of games. I will agree with you with that detail, yes.
Unfortunately, due to power cut, Top Hat Gamer. Where's the command for that, Nitro?
Try lowercase. What the
You're
fuck? Why is
fired.
it working?
No, wait, you're not fired. Your contract is extended another 1,000 years.
Oh,
Wait,
you
can we
know
get
why?
Can we get that
I
short?
copied. Hold on. I know why it didn't work. I just need to double check something. Yeah, you know why I did it wrong? Is I copied and pasted it from what you sent me, and you put Jason, not Jacob.
Check
So this
my
is
work.
your fault.
Always check
This
my
is
work.
your fault.
I put Jason. There we go.
Ah!
So, Top Hat Gamer, known as Jacob, hopefully he will be returning. But power cuts
That's
prevented him
Delivery
from
Jason.
staying. Excellent.
I didn't even notice that part either.
Thurston, otherwise known as Armon or Nitro, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at NunsuTypeAt. I will be here tomorrow, where we are doing not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow is Star Trek. I'll be on there.
Tina, otherwise known as Carlisle, otherwise known as Xavier, otherwise known as Alistair, the man of many
Otherwise known
names.
I think that at this point, yeah, doing it like that, because then it's very Malkavian. Like, oh fuck.
Where can we find you? And what do you do?
Here, nothing. I ruin people's nights. At this point, I think it's safe to say just on both characters, yeah.
Fair.
I like Alistair.
Last but never
Yeah.
least, Ms. Hart, known as Eveline, or Cedra for the time being.
Railroad.
What do you do and where can we find you?
I am Ms. Hearts everywhere. MZHARTZ on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, all the things. I usually stream on Mondays, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Time with Star Citizen games, whatever I feel like streaming. Then Tuesdays on the base radio, I have I Want My 80s show. That's from 7 to 9 Central Time. And then you can find me on here. But I am not streaming or doing my radio show next week. I will be back after the first of the year.
Excellent. Thank you all very much for coming. Go a raiding on Kendu, because we love Kendu. Victorian, we'll be back in 2-3 weeks or so, give or take. We'll be doing London's Burning again. Once that is finished, we'll be here in Victorian Age. And hopefully you can all join us again.
Wait.
Thank you for coming, and we can't go until Ms. Hart says the line.
Have a good night, you urchins.